Live from beautiful downtown Bastrop, it's time for the Stage Select, starring Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
What could this possibly be? Seems a lot like a podcast. Wonder what specifically. Talking about video games. With your hosts, you're in good hands. Not more of the same. Now we'll jump right in. So expect the unexpected and more. Now we'll get grooving. Never know who's gonna walk through the door. There just might be some tragedy. It's just having fun with a special guest. Time for Stage Select.
With special guest, Xavier Kreiger. And here are your hosts, Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
Welcome, one and all, to the Stage Select. I'm Julian Titus.
No, I'm Justin Ham. What was so funny about that? I don't understand.
Justin Ham just ripping fat clouds
Just
of vape.
blowing sick clouds on the podcast. That's what I do now. At least this week. I'm dog sitting this week. Xavier Kreiger is also here. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to have you on.
Nice to be here. I don't have any smoke circles to blow, but
I'm not.
still
I
very
can't
glad
do
to
that.
be here. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. I can blow sick clouds. That's about as far as it goes for me. I can't do the rings and all that stuff yet. Not yet. I'll get there.
My
no, I
big
won't.
smoking days was pretty much just not tobacco, and I was busy not being sober to learn how to do anything with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Been there. Well, I'm going to jump the line here. I'm going to talk about a movie that I watched, a movie that's sweeping the nation. It should be. It's not yet. It should be though. I need to jump the line and talk about Ouija: The New Beginning. A masterpiece of cinema, if there ever was one. And by masterpiece, I mean an absolute piece of garbage, but still a masterpiece in its own way. I didn't realize that the Ouija board people have just been, I don't know if they're licensing the name out or if you can just use it, if it's in like public access or something, but they've been making these movies for a while, I guess.
I don't think it's a brand, right? It's just what like the name of that.
I mean, it's
board.
a Hasbro toy, so I imagine they have some kind of
Right.
I don't know
I'm
what
wondering if it
trademark
went into
versus
public access at some point, and now you can just do that. Yeah, because I think Hasbro branded it, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. But they've been making these movies. I watched a
Ouija
different
board
one.
is apparently a trademark of Hasbro,
Yeah.
but a Ouija is not. Ouija
Oh,
can
okay.
be
Okay,
used
yeah,
freely.
that's kind of what
That
I was
makes sense.
thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. We all learned something today.
Also, I just Googled that, so don't fact check me on that. But
I will definitely fact check you later. It's fine. But yeah, it's a movie that I watched because apparently this is a big thing. It's a big movie franchise, I guess now. And I'm not going to say it's big, but it's a movie franchise that exists that you can watch. They're like horror movies. You can kind of predict how they go. It's just like, we got a Ouija board. We're going to talk to some spirits. Things are going to go bad. Pretty run of the mill. So then they were like, at some point, somebody was like, well, we're going to make our own Ouija movie. And it's The New Beginning. And okay, let's just start at the start. So it starts out in a car, right? It's two girls, they're teenagers, and the mom. And they're driving, and these teenagers are arguing, and the mom is getting upset. And as it's going, they're doing teenager stuff. It's all terrible acting. It's fantastic. As they're going slowly in the background, I'm just listening, and it's doing these music stings when the mom gets upset every single time. It's just like boom boom, like, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And
Oh
then
man, why can't that happen every time I talk?
oh, it'd be great. See, there you go, Julian. This is the editing magic that we need right now. Is
Yeah.
just add some real music stingers like this all the time for no reason, because this was the whole movie. They just kept doing that. Nothing would happen, but they'd add these music stingers like that just all the time. It was incredible. Whoever did the sound for this is a genius. I swear to God. Like they get to a restaurant. The kids are still arguing. Like this kid behind the mom is like making faces or something, and like it's still doing these like bum bum and like just slowly getting more dramatic as it goes. Then they get to the house because the kid's dad died or something like that. He didn't really die. Spoilers. He's actually alive, but you don't find that out till the end. But the kid's dad died. The mom is like homeless or something, so she's gonna go watch her stepdad's house for a month or something like that. And she's enrolling her kids in school for this month, which I found bizarre. That she was just like, yeah, no, fuck it. We're just gonna pull you out of school and back in or for a month. It's wild. But they get to the house and the guy's there and he's acting, I guess. It's the entire movie is like that. Like you can be like, I guess this is acting. It's something.
You're in front of a camera, so technically.
Yeah, they had a camera and they had a script and they're reading the lines. You can say that.
So I have an immediate question about the Ouija movie. How present is the Ouija board? Because I imagine it would be just like that opening thing, and then the spooky stuff happens, and then it turns just into like a standard.
The Ouija board doesn't even come into play, and so they have to set up the whole house thing first. Like this is the funny part. So they set up this whole house, right? Like they're like, okay, they're not in the stepdad's house. There's the girlfriend that's like obviously trying to get the guy's money or something. They're going to Europe. That's what they're doing. The girlfriend is maybe the best actress in the entire thing, but she's not. She's only in it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then she's gone forever because none of this stuff comes back. It's like a big part of I kept waiting for it to come back. I was like, maybe the guy's just acting weird because it's a horror movie. He's gonna come back and do some weird shit or tell him about some spirits or something. I don't know. That doesn't happen. So eventually, the girl goes to school because she had they both go to school, but the main girl, who is the dark-haired one, I don't remember their names. Why would I remember their names? They go to school, and then that girl meets a goth girl, and that's it. We're off to the races, right? She met the goth girl. She gets picked on by some bullies. The goth girl sticks up for her, and then she goes to a garage sale. And they're like, okay, well, we got to sell everything out of this house. So, find something. And she finds this Ouija board. And she's like, how much is this Ouija board? And she's like, I don't know. It's like $5. You want it? And she's like, nope, I don't have $5. So she starts to like walk away. And then as she touches the Ouija board, a ghost child shows up. Now that sounds kind of spooky, except they've done no special effects, so it's just a random kid standing in the background, and like it doesn't even register that it's a ghost. It's just a kid standing there.
I mean, that's terrifying to me.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But she gets so scared that she sees this kid that she falls, and she credit to her, she does her own stunt work. She falls into a cardboard box. And breaks and sort of bends the box up. And then because she feels bad, they give her the Ouija board. So now she has the Ouija board, and she gets her goth friend to come play the Ouija board with her. And the goth kid's like, oh, you bought it from that house that has the kids disappeared out of nowhere. Nobody knows where those kids went. It's crazy. Everybody's wondering where they took off to. Also, it's on an island. I don't know how they drove there, but it's on an island. I'm not asking too many questions about it.
Same way, was it Alan Wake? Didn't that start with them driving to an island?
Yeah, why not? I don't know.
Took a ferry.
Took a ferry. Okay.
I don't even think they took a ferry. I expected a ferry ride, but it's it's kind of offhandedly mentioned towards the end of the movie. They're like, "Oh yeah, power's out on the whole island." It's like, we were on an island? I didn't even know.
I thought you meant the driving was mentioned at the end, and I really wanted it to end with like, "Wait, how do we get here?"
No, nobody mentions that. It's wild. So yeah, then they do the Ouija board, and then another ghost kid shows up. But this is more like a ghost teenager, and it also doesn't register that something's wrong because like they just look like a regular person just showed up on set. Now, this is you're also at this point in the movie you're like, okay, this is a terrible movie, right? Like they didn't try for special effects. That's fine, whatever. But the way they tried to make it scary, and I don't know what the hell they were going for. I think they wanted it to be like, oh, the ghost is bleeding out of their leg or something. But it just looks like the ghost randomly pees themselves. And like, I'm not kidding. Like, it just randomly, a wet spot appears on their jeans. And then the kids scream and we cut to the cops are being there and all this other shit. Wild movie. It's so bad. It's so great. Everybody should go watch it. It's incredible. It doesn't even end there. The ultimate twist in it is that, like I said, the dad is still alive actually. Also there's a priest who stole some keys at that garage sale and he goes into the house and then I don't even remember what happens to him. But something happened probably. The ultimate twist is that the dad is still alive, but the mom has been keeping the kids away from the dad. Like I said, this is, real to do with spirits, apparently. So then eventually the sheriff gets in contact with the dad and is like, I don't know, this lady seems nuts. This mom is kind of crazy. So the mom's actually the bad guy and you thought she was the good guy the whole time. That was the twist. It wasn't very good, but that's what they did. My favorite part of the movie was so at some point they just had this lingering shot outside. There's two favorite parts and they're both at the end. They had this lingering shot outside and I'm just in full blown like shitting on this movie at this point and I'm having a great time. So at some point I'm just like, I'm looking in the background, I'm like, it's a real nice gazebo they got back there. It's a really nice gazebo. I would like a gazebo like that. Who wouldn't? It's a really nice gazebo. And I just keep saying that out loud and I'm like, wouldn't it be great if that was the ultimate twist? Like the gazebo was actually haunted this whole time. Like they got to do the Ouija board in the gazebo. And I was just fucking around. They didn't do the Ouija board in the gazebo, but at some point, like one of the people rushed out of the gazebo and it was supposed to be like this jump scare. And I marked the fuck. I was like, it's a haunted gazebo. I told you. It was great. Like I yelled, startling Kim. Which was fun. The other favorite part of the movie was they had a conversation between the teenage daughter, the teenage daughter that's not possessed. The one that did the Ouija board gets possessed. It's the whole thing. Who cares? It barely plays a part in the movie. That's the weird part. She's having a conversation with this daughter in a hallway. And it is the messiest fucking cinematography I've seen in almost ever. All they're doing is having a conversation with each other, but they can't stop cutting between like the close-up face shot of each of them, even though they're in the same room. Also, to top it all off, what I'm pretty sure happened is they only had the audio for the daughter from like filming from the camera microphone or something because her audio sounds terrible, but the mom sounds really, really good. Like, it's really weird. Like, the more you sit there and listen to it, you're like, what the fuck happened? Did they not do, like, the after, the post thing where they go in and do all the voiceover and shit? And I was just like, this movie's a mess, and it's a masterpiece. It's phenomenal. Ouija the New Beginning. Watch it for free on Amazon Prime. I implore all of you. It's great.
Yeah. I'll get right on that, Justin. Thank you.
You really should. You really should, actually. It's no joke. It is like the funniest movie I've watched in a long time. Because it's taking itself dead serious, which is phenomenal. It's like
right.
It's kind of like watching The Room, but yeah.
Well, I normally don't make a big deal about the episode numbers on this show, but it is the 75th episode, which, you know, in comic book terms, that's a milestone, or it used to. Actually, these days, it's probably an unheard of milestone because comics don't get to go to 75
from what I've heard of. Yeah,
anymore.
15 plus is a milestone in modern comics now.
Yeah. So we brought in regular contributor Xavier Kreiger to celebrate this auspicious occasion.
Yeah.
But before we catch up with Xavier, do have a little bit of housekeeping. One, I'm just going to go ahead and call it early because I really should have scheduled the poll to end on this episode anyway, but I'm calling it for the next game for the Suffer Select.
Sure.
Because it's a knockout landslide victory for Brat's rhythm and style.
The true horror game is upon us. Yeah. No, I'm excited.
We will be playing that for our next Patreon exclusive episode.
Prepare to feel fear like you've never felt it before.
Yes. Also, a reminder that the Well-Read Mages book on Super Nintendo RPGs is available for pre-order. I will have the link in the show description because it's up now. The special edition version is already sold out, so that's incredible.
Nice. Awesome.
You know, congratulations to Moses. He's actually coming on next episode, so we can talk to him at length about it.
Sounds great.
And then the other big thing, hey there, Giant Bomb. How you guys doing? This is the first episode to come out since we started running ads on the Giant Bomb cast and Game Mess Mornings.
I'm sure they're doing fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing excellent.
If I haven't sold anybody on Ouija the New Beginning, then I don't know what we're doing here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's the purpose of the entire podcast.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's what are we? I don't know why we're naming the show this. It should just be a podcast where we just watch Ouija the New Beginning every week and then talk about it.
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
It's a good season 3 rebrand idea.
Yeah, no,
Gonna do one of those minute by minute movie podcasts, but just over that.
Yeah, no. We watch it in its entirety every time, and then we notice different things every time. You know. It'll be great.
Yeah. But if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We are a video game variety show. Justin and I have been podcasting together for a very long time. We're wrapping up, or close to wrapping up, our second season of the Stage Select, but previously to that, we did a show called Nerds Without Pants. We love video games. We love talking about video games, and we do that every week, but that's the only guarantee that you have, because everything else is... we don't know what it's going to be until we sit down to do it. But we have a lot of fun here. Sometimes we go to space.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Sometimes we talk about Ouija the New Beginning.
Sometimes we talk about Ouija the New Beginning.
Entire episode. Yeah. I'm really hoping that there's... I should have recorded some musical stingers and then put them on my thing so I could just do that. But I didn't think about it in time.
See, that's just the reason that those apps need to come back. Like the original apps that were just soundboards and like weird. Yeah. Like they used to have a whole app for the like whoosh, whip sound.
Right.
You just don't get quality like that anymore.
No, you don't. It's all like, oh, you want to know where stuff is? There it is. There's an app for that. You want to, buy a Pepsi? There's a whole app for it.
Yeah.
That's good. I do want to buy a Pepsi sometimes, so
I'm in the market for a Pepsi.
Yeah, who isn't?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it gives me heartburn, so I kind of stay away from it.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm more of a Coke guy. Coke doesn't really have that effect on me. It's weird. I don't know why. You're welcome. Anyway.
all kidding aside, we do a bunch of silly things around here. We have a bunch of colorful characters that work here at the studio and drop in from time to time. And we're gearing up for our big Game of the Year stuff coming. Well, I mean, that will be, in December, but we're starting to plan categories and whatnot. And yeah, it's a good time. So if
Sure.
you're checking us out for the first time, welcome, and hope you stick around. And it should be a lot of fun. Xavier, the last time that we saw you was last year's Game of the Year Deliberations. So that was like 11 months ago. So I figure you've got like 3 new kids now. That's how that works, right?
Like that, yeah. So in the almost a year since I've been gone, I've changed jobs multiple times. I have a new daughter that is named after a game. I actually have not played it yet for this, but was named purely because I started Trails in the Sky is the first one. Yes, the original that. So my daughter Estelle was born. I started to play that, and I was like, well, I think they announced the remake like a week after I started playing it. I was like, well, I'm just gonna put this back and pick it back up here in a year. So, but she was born. I have changed quite a few things about my life, and luckily gotten to a really good place that I have a great balance that has kind of let me get back into gaming. Because there was a point a couple months ago I was working a job that had a shifting schedule, and it turned into a nightmare where if I was trying to spend time with my wife and with the kids and very occasionally with friends, and was staying up late, and it was like messing with my schedule, that I was just like trying to grab whatever sleep I could. And I think there was a point in like June, July that I was like, I haven't touched a video game in like weeks. And like, I know you've talked about this before, Julian, I've also never really had that part of my life where I put gaming down. I just kind of have periods of time where I'll play it less, and then I can, something else comes out and I go all the way back in and get excited about it again. But have finally kind of gotten back in, which is really good, because I feel like this year has had pretty consistent good stuff throughout the year. But this, I guess, September really feels like it has started to pick up and has a feverish pitch towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm hard pressed to keep up. It's funny because I bought Silent Hill F and Hell Is Us last week, and I bought them both on disc. So Hell Is Us is basically, that's what I'm playing right now. And then I put Silent Hill on the shelf. But I was like, oh, I forgot that I got my copy of Trails of Cold or Trails in the Sky remake, and like I was like, let me go ahead and put that on the shelf. And because I hadn't even like unwrapped it, and I was like, oh, that disc is slipping around, so let me go ahead and like open it up, put the disc on the spool, put it on the shelf. And then I was like, right, and then my copy of Tactics is like arriving on Monday.
Yeah, I got mine just out of the mailbox today.
Yeah, that's to say nothing of like some of the other games that I have picked up that I haven't even touched, like I didn't even pick up Ghost of Yotei yet, so like there's like a lot of really excellent shit that I'm looking forward to playing
that tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that being said, Xavier, like what have you been up to? What's some of the stuff that's grabbing your attention right now? I think we actually have one thing in common that we can talk about.
I saw that when so the big game came out today for me, is Digimon Time Stranger. And when I booted it up, it was like 3 of your friends have played this or own it or whatever it is. And I was like, oh, who is it? And I pulled it up, and I saw your name on there. And I was like, he got the demo. It was like the day after you had texted me to do this episode. And I was like, did this dude text me? Like, he's like, he's going to be on the show. I need to download Digimon Time Stranger, or vice versa.
No, actually completely divorced from everything. I have really been into the trailers that I saw of it, and then there was a lot of really positive buzz around the demo, and I was like, "Oh shit, there's a demo. Let me check it out." And I'll let you go, and then I'll kind of chime in because you're the Digimon fan. I have almost no experience with Digimon. Like, I was aware of it, and like obviously in my retail days, like I remember selling like that first Digimon PlayStation game, but I wasn't even really aware of like the nature of what that show was or anything like that. So I remember when you were on the old show talking about Game of the Year for Was it a visual novel? What was that?
It was Digimon Survive. It was a horror visual novel that very much impressed me by trying to actually tell a real story using kind of the mythology and lore of Digimon. If you have not played it, I think it's incredible. It's 75% visual novel, 25% grid-based tactics game. So it is very, very good. Time Stranger is basically, if anybody is a Digimon fan out there and they played Cyber Sleuth, that started a new kind of branch of the Digimon games that is a lot closer. It's essentially a kind of a Pokemon, not parody, but very similar to the Pokemon games. They're turn-based games. It's 3-on-3 instead of 1-on-1. And you have, attack, you got your specials, you got items, you go back and forth. They have elemental, weaknesses and resistances and so on. So the combat of it, although it has its own thing that I can kind of get into here in a second that differentiates it, the combat is very Pokemon-esque. But, something that I think Pokemon, I am a huge Pokemon fan. I've played all of them. I've loved most of them. They haven't really done anything to step into the new gen. Like a lot of the games, even like Scarlet and Violet, I think still kind of feel like they're beholden to the older games in some way. Digimon, because it doesn't have this long history and it can every couple of years just kind of throw it out and do whatever, is willing to take a lot more chances and do completely new narratives like a horror game or, all kinds of different other stuff that they had a Smash Bros. Clones on Digimon. Yes.
Real quick. Am I the only one that remembers that Digimon started out as a like Tamagotchi type thing where you they were like keychains and you would connect them with other people that had them and they would fight each other?
Yeah, so you had basically the Digivices that had, the little Digimon Tamagotchis, and it worked really well because they start as like a baby mode and then you take care of them and feed them. They were
cool.
And they'll grow up, and then as they get bigger, you can like fight with it. And especially the older games were very much inspired by that Tamagotchi.
Okay,
I mean, you're cleaning up after Pokemon and you got to feed them and, keep them on a schedule and all that kind of stuff. Those games were cool, but they very much would turn into like a math quiz where you're like, okay, where on the spreadsheet do I need to do whatever to get the Digimon to do whatever? This new branch of the games, the Cyber Sleuth games, and now this game, I think are a lot easier for anybody that's a RPG, especially those turn-based RPG fans, to pick up and hop into. And from what the trailer has shown, it looks like it goes into a lot of cool places where you are able to ride on a lot of the different Digimon and go through huge environments, and it's supposed to have like really an attempt at a story. And, I think my initial takeaway from the game, and, this game came out today, so I played like an hour and a half today, maybe. This is really only I've touched of the game itself. Now, I did play the demo. So the demo is doing the thing that demos have really started being consistent with, where it's the first hour to 2 hours of the game, and it carries over. If you beat the demo, it also gives you a second demo that you can play that takes place in the middle of the game. And it's like, okay, this will not carry over, but here's a team where you can just like screw with the mechanics. You can see a bunch of the mid-level, kind of how the combat looks. Because the opening demo is like, here's a baby. It has a baby smack, it has tackle or whatever that it can like hit. It doesn't have a ton of depth and variety to it. So they also give you a demo that you can kind of hop into the middle. I never messed with that. I put 6 hours into the base demo, collecting every single possible Digimon that you could get. Just so that I had all of it when I hit the game. And then I put about an hour into it after where the demo ends. I really am enjoying it. What do you say?
I've basically beat the first boss of the demo and then saw like the cutscenes right after that, and then kind of stopped where you're supposed to kind of explore the next area that they throw you into.
The like city you beat the little bug thing on top, the Kuwak.
Yeah. at the top
The
of the
demo
building.
ends like 5 minutes. I don't know why it gets you to the next area, because it drops you to the next area and it's like, go explore, and you go explore and you see a guy and talk to him, and he's like, wow, I hope you had fun with this demo. Buy the game.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
cool.
you beat the demo basically. Yeah.
That felt like a good place to end it anyway. I was kind of surprised that when it kept going, I was like, oh, this might be like the Trails of the Sky demo where it's like the first like 6 hours of the game, and I'm not, I don't have time for that right now.
So I love the Cyber Sleuth games. This is essentially more of that with maybe a better story. Very heavy on the question mark. I haven't quite decided.
Yeah, you never know.
It starts pretty tropey, and I think the biggest thing that is a disappointment for me with it is I am immediately having a blast, and I will be shocked, and we'll touch on this here in a second with Julian. I will be shocked if it brings a ton more non-Digimon fans in, because it doesn't really seem like it does a ton to get people that don't already know the lore and kind of the types of Digimon and that kind of stuff into it. But I really am enjoying this. I do think the battle system is really fun. I think they did a lot of improvements to make it pretty easy to tell at a glance, okay, is this move going to be effective? Is it not going to be effective? It's very easy to parse on screen, which was not a thing in the old one. And so you have elements that are super effective or not effective, but then you also have data, vaccine, and virus types. So it could be like, okay, well, you're a virus, so it is super effective, but it's fire, which is not very effective. So how does that balance out? And so you would get into a situation where, like, I'm partway in this game and I'm like, I don't know, whatever my strong attack is, like, I don't give a shit. I'm just like slamming through it. This has a times 100 in big blue letters, or times 200%, 400%, 50%, whatever it is, and makes it a lot easier to parse. And I am having a blast with the raising of the Digimon, which for me is the reason that I want to play these games, because the way that it works is, as you have these Digimon, they have whatever stats, they level up, and when they get to a certain level, they can digivolve to the next form. But the forms that they have access to depends on what their stats are. And then when you de-digivolve and go down a step, it raises your base stats and makes it so you can level up higher. So it turns into this, you digivolve up, okay, you spend a little bit of time with that. All right, now you'll de-digivolve down and carry some of those increased stats over, and then can get better stats, where then you can digivolve into different champion forms or rookie form or whatever that are ultimately stronger. And so it becomes kind of, you have one Digimon that will have ended up being 30 different forms, because you go all the way up this tree of Digimon, and then you go down because you've gotten the high enough stats that you can go all the way back to the base, take those increased stats, and digivolve into these mythical Digimon, or like the Royal Knights and different forms like that. So it becomes that kind of micromanaging your party that I've really liked from games like Final Fantasy Tactics, where I'm like, okay, in 8 hours of gameplay, I want to be here. What do I need to do now to increase their strength, increase their agility, increase whatever it is to get them to that point? But
yeah, and I was going to say, Justin, like it is a little bit like the job system in Tactics ish,
sure,
with the way that you're like leveling and upgrading the Digimon, and kind of like mixing and matching, because there's also just like items that you can equip to give a Digimon like an ability that it wouldn't already have. So that way you can kind of build around or to paper over like a weakness or something like that.
Is it as much of a political thrill ride as Final Fantasy Tactics? Because that's what I would love from the Digimon series, is for them.
Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
When Agumon stabbed my main character in the back after, like,
all right,
they had been on that adventure together, I was pretty shook.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking Digimon Survive stuff.
Now we're going. Okay.
Yeah. The other thing with the raising of Digimon is it's after the demo, but you have a Digimon farm that you can send your Digimon off to. But when you put them on there, you give them training missions that tell them to basically focus on strength or focus on speed or whatever you want them to do. So while you have your team, you also can have this like up to, I think you start out, you can put 10 Digimon in it. And you can have all 10 Digimon that are working on different stats. So while you're leveling up your main team, these guys are still leveling up. That's one of the things I really do like about the game. Your team of 6 and everybody in your box and everybody in your farm gains full experience throughout your battles. So everybody is leveling up at all times.
Which is a godsend from, my experience with Pokemon.
Oh my god, it's so nice. I really love it. And you can do a thing where you take Digimon and you load them into other Digimon. You just convert them into data and use it to power up other Digimon. So you're just like acquiring hundreds of these little monsters and just letting them level up as like, when you get nice and plump, I'm feeding you to the 6 that I actually care about. I'm going to make those like into gods. But it does, and the farm has a lot of those Tamagotchi kind of approaches where it's like, how happy are they? Like, what's their happiness meter at? Like, go up and tell them they're doing like a great job, and that'll change their nature to be whatever and make them a little bit happier, and then raise whatever stat. And it gives a little bit of that feel to it.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of like a Shin Megami Tensei vibe to that also, with like their temperament kind of factoring into how they grow also, and you can talk to them at certain points, and then depending on what you say, it kind of starts to alter their demeanor and kind of how they grow. I don't know how all that works in my time with the demo, but I'm hoping that I would learn, over the course of the game.
Yeah, it will start to give you a little bit more. But I was surprised at how little it would reveal in the demo. And I wasn't sure. I was like, is this because it's the demo, so it's not giving me some... Because I know I've come across demos before that won't pop those tutorial boxes occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Am I not getting these boxes that I'm supposed to? Or do they just not care if I understand what's happening here?
Yeah, could be that too.
So,
yeah.
I am overall really enjoying the game. The story is where... I just, I'm only, even with the demo, I'm, 3 or 4 hours into it. And like, I'm at the part, it's very early RPG. Like literally the mission I'm going on right now is there's a, not YouTube, but whatever they call it in this game, person who's trying to get famous making these videos. And I'm trying to help her get more likes on her video. It's like the mission that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So it's very like, like things are going to go really bad at some point, but right now, we're just out here trying to get everybody to like these videos about birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story, I think, was the part of the demo where I was a little unsure because, one, it's got, like the protagonist is silent, which I'm never a big fan of, but then...
And like, painfully silent. Like, they're talking, and your character is just gesturing, like, making random movements or, like, very over-the-top anime faces. And then that's it, like, in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a little weird. And they do really kind of throw you in with, like, not a ton of explanation, but your character is supposed to know stuff. So it's that really awkward type of exposition where you're basically having to make your character look like a dumbass in order to get the information for you, the player.
Yep.
And so it's like you have your character asking questions and the person's like, what, you don't remember that? It's blah, 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 right? And it's like, okay, that's like a little less elegant than I like. But the setup is interesting because it's kind of like Digimon X-Files where you're part of a group that's supposed to investigate basically like Digimon related stuff, but it's supposed to be like on the down low. Like you're trying to investigate these anomalies without like the general public catching wind of it and stuff like that. So that stuff is cool. And I've never been the biggest Pokemon fan, but I am open to the whole, let's capture these monsters and have them level up and have them battle. I just want more meat on the bones of the reason for doing that. And I think so far this is doing that because it's like, okay, there's like shit going on and there's like mysteries here. And also because I don't know anything about Digimon, it's like there's like weird stuff about just the nature of a Digimon that I'm curious about. I think my one complaint about the battle mechanics, it's not a huge one, but I prefer it, and not a lot of games do this either. It's really more of a Dragon Quest thing, but I prefer it when the trainer also gets to fight.
Yeah.
Or take action in the game, where here, like, you can like throw items to your Digimon, like, and it's actually really generous with it, because you can use an item per Digimon's turn. So if you get like a party wide attack that takes them all down to half, you can actually individually level or heal each one of them when their turn comes back around.
And it doesn't take the attack, so you can use an item, heal them up, and then still get your full turn to do a special or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. And you can switch out a Digimon without taking a turn penalty also. It's a surprisingly generous RPG. They also fully heal when they level up, which I'm a big fan of, but also if you just stay put for a few seconds, they also completely regenerate all their health and SP, which I'm like, I think maybe you only need one of those. Like, it feels like it might be a little too easy, but we'll see later on down the road.
It will become, so Cyber Sleuth did not do that stuff, but it had a very similar game mechanic. And by the like last 2 or 3 dungeons, every battle, the battles aren't as plenty as like a Pokemon is, where, you know, every 4 or 5 steps you're coming into something. But a lot of the battles start feeling like, okay, I could potentially lose this if I'm not paying attention to what's going on. If I'm not using my SP, or I have this great move, but it does use 25% of my SP. I think that I'm assuming they're going to go even more into that in this game, where they're like, there's going to come a point where all battles are potentially wiping you per, random battle.
In that case, then yeah, I'm all for it. And yeah, and I agree with Xavier, like the way that it communicates information, like once you have exploited a weakness of a Digimon, like it keeps that information. And so then when you're going, and also if you still have that same Digimon active and you go to like pick their special ability, it'll auto select the most powerful one, because it just remembers what it was. So like it's really smart about things like that. And also the way that you capture more Digimon is, as you battle them, you're basically scanning their data, and once it goes up to 100%, you can attempt to get them, or if it goes up to 200%, you're guaranteed to get them, and also their stats will be better.
You're guaranteed at 100% too. It's the 200%. It's just 100%. Over 100, every percent increases their stats by.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so it's kind of one of those things where you're just like constantly getting new shit, kind of in the way that Blizzard kind of handles that constant dopamine rush, where it's like, oh, I just got a new one. Oh, it's time to digivolve this one. Oh, and now, and it's just like that constant loop of progression, and
that's good.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised.
I do want to give a little tease at what the actual story is, because it's not really revealed in the demo, or if it was, I didn't clock it. And I watched the trailers, but I watched them more as like a vibe. I wasn't trying to like figure out what was happening. So I had no idea this is what it was. It makes sense because the game's called Time Stranger. But the game starts with a big Digimon attack in the middle of the city. And you are going in and trying to figure out what's happening. And then as you get into like this kind of abandoned part of the city that's walled off, you realize there's a Digimon attacking. And that Digimon at the end of the demo is like breaking out and starting to attack more of the city as like a kaiju would. You get knocked unconscious and you go into this like other realm where you're with all these Digimon that if you are a Digimon lore person, you know that a lot of these Digimon that you're running into are like royal knights, and they're like Digimon that are very present in the lore of the world. So you're like, okay, there's something going on here. There's like a magic egg, whatever. But you wake up 8 years in the past, but your communicator is still able to communicate with your team in the present. So the game is they're updating you in the present that like Digimon are going crazy, like they're destroying the city, they're starting to destroy other parts of the world, and you are in the past trying to figure out what has led to that. And so, like I mentioned earlier, that like you're trying to help this girl get YouTube views. The reason that you're trying to get YouTube views is in the opening of the game, she is the girl that's like your oracle or whatever that's kind of helping you and giving you advice, references a YouTube video that they're using to like triangulate where the different data is found, and that's how you found this data source for Digimon, you are helping the person who made that video 8 years in the past starting their channel, because you know that they're going to start being where these Digimon are reported as being seen and, you know, where they're happening. So you're getting updates of the world being destroyed in the future, or I guess your present, while you're in the past trying to sometimes not mess with the past and sometimes mess with the past, kind of depending on what you're doing. So it has the potential to do some interesting stuff. I just don't know that it will, because it's fallen enough back on like little anime tropes that I'm like, I could also see this game just kind of like, no, we're not going to do anything super like, you know, interesting or original. We're going to kind of be a little samey, but I could see them doing some like really cool kind of fun stuff with it. So I am excited to see where it could go.
And yeah, like I said, the trailers definitely intrigued me. And then the kind of review buzz that I've seen are from people who I don't think are necessarily Digimon super fans, but were just like, yo, this is a really good RPG. Yeah. So I think that's like a really good sign of things to come. I don't think it's something I'm going to pick up right away, but it's definitely on my radar, which, I mean, I think that says a lot because when I saw the first trailer, I was like, yo, this looks awesome. And then I was like, it's Digimon. And I was like, fuck.
And Bandai Namco is usually pretty good about some aggressive sales once they get out of that first couple months. Yeah. So I do think it's going to get some pretty good discounts that will hopefully keep the game kind of alive and popular.
Yeah.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Duke Nukem is back, like you've never seen him before, having a midlife crisis. This Bugatti is my entire personality now. See one of the greatest gaming icons tackle his greatest challenge yet, dating over the age of 30. So I swipe right on every girl, right? I've swiped right on like 1,000 girls and not a single match. It's the most real game ever made. Sheila, I just need to tell our son how I feel. Fuck you, Duke. Duke Nukem versus Middle Age. Coming soon. Viagra kicks ass.
Well, I definitely want to hear more from you, Xavier, but kind of piggybacking off of the demo thing, because I don't have a lot to say because it was a super short demo, but I tried another demo that came out this week for Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is the new beat 'em up from the team that did the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I didn't realize that game is it on PlayStation 5?
I think it's on everything. Yeah, I played it on my Steam Deck, but I'm pretty sure it's everywhere. It's a very short demo. It's only 2 levels, so you can finish it in about 15 minutes or so. And it's kind of funny because we had a question last week asking what we would do to kind of modernize the beat 'em up. And I'll be goddamned if this game doesn't do a lot of the stuff that I said right off the gate, or right out of the gate, which is, yo, second attack button. Also, you can block. So right off the bat, it's doing stuff that I've been wanting a beat 'em up to do for years. I picked She-Hulk and Captain America.
Okay.
For my demo, and I was pleasantly surprised that. So she has her regular attack string, but then her special. You have your regular attack and your special attack. Her special attack is a grab, but it's a grab angled into the air. And so very quickly I learned, oh shit, I can pop these guys up into the air with my regular melee and then snatch them out of the air and then grab them and throw them around.
That's nice.
And she flings them with such amazing ricochet. And the game is very smart about making sure that those enemies end up knocking into other enemies. So she's awesome for crowd control. And it looks great. It's like got some really nice animation.
Yeah.
And then when I switched over to Captain America, because you actually pick, like I said, you pick 2 characters, you can tag them in and out. You know, he has a block, but because he has his shield, his block will actually deflect blasts from guns and stuff like that. So you can use it that way to actually return attacks. Obviously, he can't do that if he's thrown his shield, which is a really nice touch. And it's cool. I still want a little bit more, and they have like they have the block button on like the B button, which doesn't feel.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Yeah, it feels a little bit out of the way for actually wanting to react to things. So I think I'm gonna, when the game comes out, I'm gonna swap the B button and the super attack button, because that's on a trigger or a shoulder button. Yeah. But I went through like the 2 demo levels, and I had a lot of fun. It feels really good. And then I started the demo again and picked Wolverine and Nova, and was pleasantly surprised to see just how differently they felt from She-Hulk and Captain America. So Wolverine, he doesn't have a block; he has a dodge, and it's kind of like a backdash almost. But I think you can also kind of roll around with it. His standard melee kit basically turns into his move set from the Marvel vs. Capcom games. Like, almost to the point where I'm like, yo, I don't know if you're allowed to do this, man. Like, it's like the same animations, but I don't know. It's Wolverine, so it's also like that's kind of it. It's not Capcom's fault. They just nailed how Wolverine would look in a fighting game situation, but. And he does have a healing factor. Basically, like if he takes damage, he can regenerate any of the red health. That's so he can't fully regenerate, but he does get some of his health back. And then you've got Nova, who has like this really nice. His special is like this beam that goes across the entire screen, but he only has 3 charges of it, and then it has to recharge. But then he's also got this really cool, like dashing comet move that when he stops, it does this like kind of area of effect explosion around him. So they put a lot of thought and care into making these characters actually feel different from one another, which I think is, can be a problem in a lot of beat 'em ups where it tends to be, okay, yeah, this one's the strong, slow one. This one's the weaker, fast one. This one's the one right in the middle. But otherwise, that's about the similarities stop.
Yeah,
or that's where the differences stop. And whatnot. Where here, it's like everybody, from what I played, like feels a lot different. And there's more characters than that in the demo. I was just like, okay, yeah, this is definitely worth playing. But I think there's supposed to be like 15 characters total when the game comes out, 15 or 16. And then based on what they did with Shredder's Revenge, I'm expecting them to keep adding like a shit ton of characters, over a year or 2 after the game comes out. But definitely worth checking out. I had a lot more fun with it than I thought I would.
I wish listed it. So it looks really good. I didn't even know that was coming out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will definitely download that demo tonight because I'm very interested in that game. I struggle to get super into beat 'em ups because, kind of as you guys talked about last week, like when you've played one good one, there's not a ton of other variety in there. There's a couple that do some interesting stuff, but this is one that I'm very, very excited for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for 80s era Wolverine costume, so they kind of had me there. I was like, okay, you picked the right costume. I'm kind of into this. But then they have some weird choices, like the version of Ghost Rider that they're using is actually when Punisher became Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is it's Cosmic Invasion, right? Yeah. But it's still a weird choice because it's like, oh right, that was a thing. That's
I see that
bizarre.
Phyla-Vell is the Captain Marvel version that they're using, just the original Captain Marvel's daughter, right?
Yeah, so it's
not who I ever would have guessed would be I would have said Monica Rambeau before her.
Yeah, it's an interesting cast. And then putting like Silver Surfer in there of all people where, it's like he's still on his board and everything like that. But the roster is definitely not what I would have expected for this type of game.
Definitely the first thing I noticed was I was like, these weird characters for a Marvel game. That's kind of cool. Yeah, very different.
also going for like a very classic comic look to them, and they're not trying to make them look like the movie versions.
No, it looks,
which I appreciate.
It looks cool.
Well, Xavier, obviously you've been. It's been a long time, so
yeah, I have.
By all means, fire away.
I have a lot of things that I can potentially talk about. I think here, I'm going to go through a couple smaller things that I want to shout out. My only other big thing that I'm playing right now is Hades 2, which I assume Justin has. Have you played any more of that?
That's been about all I've been playing. So, yeah,
that's the majority of what. So I think we can save that a little bit. I got a couple other things that I have played this year that I know you guys have not talked about. The big one that I want to shout out, I've not heard anybody talk about this game. It is currently my game of the year. I absolutely am in love with this game. It's called Dark Deity 2. You guys heard of Dark Deity 1 or 2?
I've heard of the original Dark Deity. I think I have that, and I don't think I cared for it very much, if memory serves.
So it's basically, I think it's a one guy. The first one I think was a one guy team. I don't know if the second one is also a one guy team.
Yeah.
Or if he expanded and got a team. It's basically the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem games. It's that
pretty much
style of a game. So it's very SRPG. It's very kind of basic story, but it does a ton of little things that I think make it feel like there's a lot more depth to it. It's, think about your basic Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem, but they have equipment, but they have passive abilities, but they have, level up trees, and they have different branches that they can take on the level up trees. And they have a ton of kind of weird classes. So, like, one of the classes is a ice Viking that uses axes and freezes people whenever he fights them, and then can freeze enemies and then shatter them. And then when he shatters them, it can trigger abilities that give him extra potential at freezes, or bloodlust that he can then take into increased combat with, other people. Just a lot of stuff like that gives a ton of depth beyond just kind of that. I like the old Fire Emblem game. I love the new Fire Emblem games, but especially the older ones. I feel like it's very easy to, like, this is how the game wants you to play. There's not a ton of, you get to choose which 10 characters you're using, but, like, there's not a lot past that. This one does a ton to kind of give you those couple more levels of complexity. And it was a game that I just, like, it was around the time that my daughter was born that I picked it up, and I just had it on Steam Deck and played it nonstop. And it's recently got announced for Switch 2, so I will be picking it up on Switch 2 and playing it again. It's one of those that I've just absolutely been in love with. And I do think the second is much better than the first. You could tell the first... I found the game because I just stumbled across the dude on TikTok, and he would just go into, like, I worked this office job and I hated it, and I had I would just doodle characters at my desk and quit my job, and I was like, I'm doing it, and took out a loan and made the game, and it's extremely the first one especially, like, the story is the most cliche fantasy kind of story that you have seen 100 times. But
I remember I own the first one, and it's fascinating. I played it for about an hour and was like, I don't think this is gonna work out with me.
The second one's story is much better, but really it's the story is still not anything amazing.
Sure.
The combat, they added a ton of stuff to that I think they really went on, and it's something. What got me is I had stumbled on it on TikTok, and I watched a video or two. And so for a year and a half, every couple hours that I was just, like, doom scrolling, I would come across a video where he's like, hey, I made this new character class. Here's all the animations that I'm doing for it. And it would show kind of the critical hits and the battle animations and the map animations. And it just, like, every time I saw it, I was like, God, this game's like this is going to be very dangerous for me when it comes out. And when it
looks
finally hit,
cool.
It's very cool. So I highly recommend for that. I will talk because I have I know Justin is not interested on it. Julian, are you planning on getting Donkey Kong Bonanza?
I am, actually. I was thinking about that recently because I have a vacation coming up and I'm basically just staying home and I'm just going to go full dirtbag mode.
Oh, yeah.
And there's definitely stuff that I want to finish in that time. And I was like, that might be a fun thing to get to play while I'm off. But it kind of depends on how far I get in Hell Is Us. Because I didn't get a ton of time to play games this week. But Hell Is Us is not like a super long game. And then Silent Hill apparently is also a fairly short game. And I think I probably want to get that one done sooner rather than later because people are already starting to be pretty loosey-goosey with spoilers. So I think I want to kind of knock that one out while I still don't know much about it.
I'm barely online anymore, and I have had parts of that game spoiled for me. I just like open up Reddit, and it's like, this character did that. I was like, what? It's frustrating.
Yeah.
But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza is another game that I really loved, and I'm not really, I am a big Nintendo person. I almost every time I've been on here, I've brought up a Nintendo game of some kind and waxed about how much I enjoyed it. Donkey Kong was the one that I just, even the Donkey Kong Country games are really the only ones I put any time into. And they were always fun. Like, I enjoyed them. The music really stuck with me, but I just didn't. Like, if I'm going to play a Super Nintendo platformer, I'm probably going to go Mario before I'm going to go Donkey Kong. They were similar enough that I just never clicked with, and I hated 64 and the other couple ones I touched. I really, really enjoyed this game, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to, but the just complete, destructibility of everything, and the fact that they, they bring that Nintendo polish of there's almost always something to, like, if you go this way and destroy it, you're going to find a banana, or you're going to find a fossil, you're going to find, whatever. Really just made it that I had a lot more fun, because I was worried. I really struggle with like a Minecraft or a, do whatever you want game where they just drop you into a huge world. And I just kind of end up like building the couple things and then wandering off and then never picking it up again. This is a game that no matter what I did, it really felt like I was being propelled toward some kind of something. And so it always just had that constant loop of always picking up another thing. You talked earlier about that constant serotonin hit from like a Blizzard game. This is that same. Every 3 to 4 minutes, I'm getting a banana and hearing that, oh, banana, that I had in my head for months. Or I'm finding a fossil and I've got that really cool purple DK tie that I want to get. And I know it's 10 fossils and I'm, plugging away at them. It just constantly felt like I was stumbling onto that stuff. And you can do some like wild, Breath of the Wild or Baldur's Gate 3, like the puzzle wants me to do that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do this other wild shit where I build a ramp and then pick up the ground and surf it onto this ramp and then jump off of it, slam it onto the wall, hop onto that, and then jump over to this thing. And okay, I got to the thing and I completely avoided this puzzle because I tried it once and the puzzle was bullshit. Now I don't want to do it. So it just lets you do kind of whatever you want. And I mean, I really, really loved Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is the hottest take I will have today, I'm sure.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I've never really been much of a Donkey Kong fan. I enjoyed Donkey Kong Country, and then I was pretty much good. And basically, I tried Donkey Kong 64 at the store when I was working there, and I was like, yeah, this just, I don't like this. And then I know that I had bought one of those more recent Donkey Kong games for my Switch, and I hated the way it felt. It felt very slippery and imprecise to me, and I just bounced off of it immediately. But everything that I've seen of Bonanza looks really nice. I super love the new design. I think he looks
it's so
fantastic.
Charming. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So no, I am looking forward to picking that one up relatively soon. I might there's a not zero chance that I end up playing that before Ghost of Yotei.
There you go.
Heck yeah. The other one that I don't have a ton to say on, but I did pick up and I have been enjoying a little bit is Lost Soul Aside. It was one that I was very interested in from the trailer. There was a big PlayStation showcase that I remember it debuted at.
Yeah.
That it like really impressed me. And so I picked it up the day it came out. And I'm probably 5 hours-ish into it. It's somebody that saw Devil May Cry, saw Final Fantasy, and is like, I'm going to make one of those. And it very much feels like the combat's trying to be Devil May Cry and the story's trying to be Final Fantasy, and it kind of succeeds sometimes and doesn't succeed others. The biggest issue is that the opening hour or so of the game feels fucking terrible because they don't give you any of the abilities. Good. You have to get to the story point, I guess very slight spoiler, where you find the dragon egg or whatever, and like, or no, it's not a dragon egg. It's the Dragon King spirit that you like find and doesn't kill you for some reason that I don't remember, and then ends up helping you, and then all of a sudden you get your double jump and your dash and your dodge thing and your big attacks that can come in and like interact. And at that point, I mean, it went like I had texted one of my friends because he asked me if he should buy it. I was playing it. I was like, no, but I'm going to. So I'm going to stream it if you want to watch it. Then I was like, okay, wait, no. If you're willing to give it X amount of time, it does eventually start to feel really good. And the combat, I'm not a huge Devil May Cry fan. I've played them. I played especially the PlayStation 2 ones. I never really messed with 4 or 5. I mean, it feels very much like I remember the Devil May Cry games feeling, which I'm sure is not what they actually felt like. It's just my distorted memory of them. But you start to be able to do these great combos where you're destroying them on the ground, and then you slam them up into the air and then jump up after them and juggle them in the air, smash them down, which pulls someone else in towards you. You dodge through them to the other side and then are hitting them from the back and are able to take them down to the ground and get these really long, satisfying combos going. So it's one that I just kind of, I've got nothing else going on. I was picking up. Hades has like destroyed that because now Hades is my like, I just want to pick up and game feel good. I'm just going to pick Hades 2 up.
Yeah.
But like Lost Soul Aside is a game that I think probably already has been kind of swept under the rug. There's a quality game there, especially if you get that like $30-$40 price tag. Like there's a good game in there that I think a lot of people will enjoy. So.
Sure.
Yeah. And I know that like it was when it came out, like it was getting like a lot of like unfavorable press because it didn't feel like a AAA. It was like two things that I saw. It didn't feel AAA enough, but it had like a AAA price, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But it's kind of, I mean, this is a weird comparison, but I keep thinking about it since we did that Suffer Select for Quantum Error, Justin, because I just remembered like looking at like a lot of the criticism around Quantum Error, and they kept like comparing it to games that had much larger budgets and much larger teams. And it's like, for what this is and like how many people they had working on it, like it's kind of impressive. And I think, because Lost Soul Aside, I'm sure it didn't stay this way, but it started as a one-man project. And then I'm sure he needed plenty of help to get it across the finish line. But I kind of keep that in mind as I look at it. I think my thing, and this isn't a problem of just that game. I think it's where I'm at with like most things these days. If your game's gonna have like some really bomb-ass traversal moves, I kind of want to start with them, and then if you want to make them feel better, like through the course of upgrading, make them feel better. But like, what are we doing here? Just give me the double jump from the beginning. Like we've had. It's been long enough. Like we kind of just expect to be able to double jump already. So just let me do the double jump. and then maybe later make the jumps higher or longer, or give me a triple jump, and that'll be like the big whoa, like power up thing. But let's not dick around. Let's just get to it.
Well, and on top of that, it's the Devil May Cry jump. So it's really high with almost no movement forward or backwards. Right. So it's just like, you know, say what you will about games modern day. It's been a long time since I've picked up a game and thought this feels like shit. Like most games that come out have at least a bar that they'll hit. This is like I picked this up and moved around and jumped and was like, oh no. Oh, like as I played, I'm just like, oh no, I just paid $60 for this. Like I'm gonna force myself, and you know it does. Okay, I get this ability. I'm like, all right, well, it feels a little better, and then you start gaslighting yourself. You're like, no, you know, people like this type of jump and stuff for a reason. Like maybe I just need to get used to it. It's just a little bit different, and then it unlocks. It's like, okay, thank God, I don't have to like torture myself anymore. But I agree. I don't know why you would put that forward. At least do the Metroid. Give me all the stuff and take it away, so I know there's something going. Because there will be people, you know, people don't rent anymore, so that you're not going to have that problem. But there will be people that pick this up and are like, no, I'm not doing this.
And it's got a demo out there too. I don't know where the demo takes place, but it's worth checking out. I had it downloaded because I wanted to try it for the show, and then it kind of just. I didn't have time for it. I didn't have time for it. Then I was like, I think I'm just going to like make some space on the PlayStation. But go ahead.
I was going to say the only other one game that I don't feel like there's a ton to say about it that you haven't already said without going full spoilers, which I don't know that you want to do. 100 Line Hero is just a phenomenal, 100 Line Academy. 100 Line Academy is a phenomenal game that, like, I you know, and even in the Discord, I remember I did have some issues throughout the game, but they were so minor, especially in the grand scheme of it. The story is phenomenal. I wish the combat got more variety throughout it, especially as you get in the other runs, like when you start going through and doing the kind of other playthroughs. But I loved that game, and I think the tactics ended up being more of like a puzzle to me than actually combat, because it was how do I take this entire field of enemies out in the fewest turns possible, and every character has such crazy range. One hits 3 spaces forward and 3 across at the very end, and then other one has 2 rows of 4, and it becomes how do I hit the most people, because a lot of the enemies will have 1 health. They have 100 1 health enemies, and then a couple smatterings of 3 health, 5 health, 20 health. So it just becomes how do I take out the most amount of people the most efficiently? But especially,
which I really loved. Because you'll start and it's like, oh, I've only got 2 action points, and there are enemies on every flank of the battlefield, and there's so many of them. But then it's like, okay, hold on. If I do this, I know that I'll get an action point back for that. So I can kind of spam that move a few times and just basically take out a bunch of them for free. And then it's like, all right, and I'm just gonna fucking sacrifice this character to do their super move and die instantly, but they're gonna take out an entire platoon on their way out. And it's just kind of making those sacrifice plays. And also it's a game where I was super judicious with item usage, where it's shit, I need to get over there. And it's oh, I've still got a spring, so let me just jump this character across the entire battlefield, and then they can still move on top of that, so I can get them into range to take care of this. I actually really love the combat, but I'm glad you mentioned it, because it's still, at this point, I don't want to, we're close enough to Game of the Year where I don't want to say what my Game of the Year is right now, but it's still in the running. That game is near the top of my list, if not the top of my list. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to have to kind of sit down and look at the list, but it's been up there the whole time.
It's in my top 5. It's kind of changed places a couple times, and I'm not on the big list, so I don't mind kind of throwing out mine a little bit more judiciously. But for those that haven't heard about this game or people that have forgotten, you have a lot of the combat. You have the school in the middle, and you'll have combat zones on all 4 sides, and you have kind of little teams of people that are defending the 4 sides. And when stuff goes bad, and you have one unit that just like you pull it together and manages to defend like an entire side of the building, or 2 sides of the building back to back. Especially Tsubasa was the car girl, the like mechanic girl that could.
Mm-hmm.
She has like a huge ability to move, and so I would have turns where I'm just using all my items on her, and I'm like, you are single-handedly defending 3/4 of this school, while the other quarter that's being defended by like my other 8 units. And like those moments where you have one that just is destroying everything feels so good, and is like some of my top moments of video games this year. Like it just feels phenomenal. Not to mention, like the story goes wild places.
Oh, it's insane. And yeah, one of my favorite things is just putting Shoma out there and just having him just tank a shit ton of damage, and then because he can't attack, but he can defend and then reflect. So you just get him out there, you have him, you put him in the middle of like every enemy that you can, and then just have him take it for the whole next turn, and then every time they attack him, they die. And it's just like, it's just really satisfying to watch.
It is awesome. It is a game that I wish was on. I've heard a couple people talk about it, but it's still not as widespread as I really wish it was.
Yeah. That's what I like about our show. Not to toot our own horn too much, but for any Giant Bomb listeners, our 2024 game of the year for the show was Unicorn Overlord, and our 2023 game of the show was Octopath Traveler 2.
Yeah.
So, that should tell you some things. I feel that I cannot hold the Hades 2 discussion back any further, nor would I attempt to. I do have one important question, because I know we have a couple seasoned Hades players here.
Sure.
One, have either of you finished a run yet? And 2, do you feel that your knowledge and experience with the first game helped with the second game? And I guess more to that point, is it expecting you to be at end of Hades 1 level competency before you're starting Hades 2?
I do not. So I will really quickly answer and then step out, because Justin, you've been quiet for a while. I'll let you.
Sure. No. I'm fine.
So I have finished. When you play Hades 2, there's a downstairs going down into Hades that you can do, and there's an upstairs going up to Olympus. I have finished a couple runs going downstairs and going against that boss. Yeah. I have gotten to the 3rd boss going towards Olympus and have not beaten that boss. I
got past that today and then got further in and got my ass handed to me and was like, holy shit, okay.
Yeah. I do not think that this game starts out expecting you to have Hades 1 skill set. I do think there's a weird, a couple little things where it does want you to know the characters, or at least to have a relationship
I was
going
to say, you should probably at least know what happens at the very end of the original game.
Oh, I just meant more from a challenge.
I'm talking about storyline stuff.
Yeah, I already know that I don't want to play the second one without finishing the first one, but I was more curious about like where the challenge, like the skill set is when it first starts.
Honestly, as somebody who played a lot of Hades 1, I still had to I basically had to retrain my brain for everything. It's a very different game, and that's kind of what I like about it the most the more I play it. It's a sequel that is different enough to where it's like I still feel like I can go back and really enjoy Hades 1 because like all the move sets are different and like it's its own type of run. Like that's important. Like it's a sequel that doesn't invalidate the first game at all. Like it's not like, oh, Hades 2 is out now, we don't ever need to play Hades 1 again. Like I could still go back and play Hades 1 and it'd be awesome. Like it's its own thing. And I really appreciate that.
So Zagreus in the first game was such an in-your-face fighter, at least at first. You know, you unlock different weapons, especially once you got the gun, that you could do completely wild stuff. But he was very get in, punch him, get out. And Mel in the second game is so much more fragile to start. Yeah. And has that kind of mid-range beginning where she has a spear that you really want to be about, 5-10 feet away from the enemies.
Yeah, you're playing a distance game a lot of the time. Yeah,
it feels very different. And if you pick it, like if I went straight from Hades 1 to Hades 2, I think I would have done worse than coming in fresh because I would be trying to play the game just so incorrectly for how
even little things like in Hades 1, you eventually pretty quickly you get that like multi-dash to where you're like going 2 or 3 times in a row. And that's how Zagreus moves. So you're just dashing all the time. This one is just like, no, you're going to dash once and then you have to wait for it. So then you learn, if I hold the button in, I sprint. Mm-hmm. So then you learn to kind of use that a little bit more. Just little tiny things. They're just different enough to where it feels like a very different experience every time. And like I've unlocked most like all the weapons and all that stuff obviously now, and they're all pretty fun to use in their own ways. There's even ones that I didn't like starting out. Like I didn't really I always refer to them as the fire maracas, but I didn't like those when I first started out. Yeah. But then I had they give you a reason to use different weapons, which I think is nice with the grave thirst thing, where you'll get more money if you use these. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know what I want. There's a lot of times where I'm like, with the 2 run thing, sometimes I'm like, which way do I actually want to go sometimes? And I don't actually know. So I'll go back. You can kind of go back and look at, I need to get this thing from here, this thing from here. Right now, I'm just trying to get through the Olympus run because I haven't done that yet.
That's kind of the clear state, is clearing both of them enough times. You get the reason that lets you do the stuff to get to the end. Right. But I've gotten to the point, I just, whatever has that grave thirst effect on it is just what I use, because I do like all the weapons enough. Like I think if I had to pick my favorite, it's probably the skulls, just because those are fun, weird. Yeah. They're basically, you get 4 skulls, you throw them forward, and when they hit an enemy, they explode, but then sit on the ground where they exploded, and you have to go pick them up to be able to throw them again. But your
special will bring them back to you.
Yeah, your special
like dashes towards people, and hits them, and then they'll all come back to you.
So it turns into like you only have these 4 effects or these 4 attacks before you have to reset in some way, either go get them or just use the dash to get them back to you. But it makes it to where if you build a very purposeful, like, I'm going to hit you once, but you're going down after that one hit. Like, especially if you have the Hephaestus boon where it'll deal 400 damage on a first hit. Right. Like, you get that cooldown down. It gets pretty gnarly pretty quick.
My favorite one with the skulls that I had so far was pretty early in. I got a Daedalus hammer that let it basically return the skulls automatically to me. So I was just machine gunning them, and I was like, this is fucking fun. Like, I was having a blast doing that. Like, I was just like, this is great. That it added this whole thing. I think I put like Poseidon stuff, so I just played keep away on everybody. I don't think I finished that run. Something screwed me over in the end of it, but I was still learning it. Like, I've really found like incrementally just getting better. Like the fight you're talking about being stuck on. Like, it took me a good amount of tries to finally be able to get through that guy. Like, he was no joke for a while. I was like, yeah, this is a lot of the times what it boiled down to is I would get to him and I'd be on my last legs as it was. I'm like, I'm just kind of here to learn the fight, and I'm gonna die, and that's okay. We're learning. And then slowly as I've gone, I feel like I've gotten better and better at that run in particular.
Yeah, I kind of know what's coming. The second time today, and I felt I went in with 1 Death Defiance, and I died pretty quick. But that last life, I did a lot better. I was like, okay, starting to see the pattern. I'm starting to see kind of what you're doing and how you have to offer. And I my build on that one, I was doing the skulls, and one of the gods that you start to get whenever you go to Olympus is Hera, and she has an ability called Hitch, which is where when you hit somebody, every person that you hit that has Hitch applied to them will start to take damage from if you hit anybody that has that effect on them. And I did that. I got a second boon from Hera, which was take one random ability, kick it up to heroic, and put it up 1 or 2 levels, which I only had the 1 boon. So I started out with this, like, so it starts out as like, the other people with Hitch take 30 or 40 or whatever % damage. It kicked it up to 95% damage. So whoever you hit was taking 100% of the damage you hit anybody else with. So I was just demolishing crowds left and right. And then I got to the boss, which is a 1-person thing for most of the fight. Like, they bring in minions and stuff, but and I was just like, oh,
yeah.
Right, well, you're kind of immune to all the things that I do.
That's always the bummer part, right? Yeah, it's always just like, oh, actually, this doesn't work here. And that's the funny part about Hitch. Every time I've used it, I'm like, most of the time you're clearing the regular encounters, no problem. But then you get to the boss, you're like, oh, I actually don't have anything for this. This is kind of a bummer. Yeah,
it's very Balatro.
It very much is. That's Hades too. It's a blast. I'm constantly tickled by even some of the, just little things that I'm like, they probably didn't have to do this, but here it is. Like, there's one of the characters that you meet along the way in the Olympus runs that has a boon that will make you bigger and make your weapon more powerful. And I just took that for the first time today, and I was like, and as soon as Melanoe spoke, I was like, oh, she sounds different. Like, it made her sound completely different. And they had, every line that she was going to read in a different voice. Characters were commenting, like, hey, you're bigger. That's weird. Like I'm like, this is, for one little thing that I may not ever get again. Yeah. You have all this stuff for it. That's really impressive.
Question.
Sure.
Are the in-game characters as horny as the player is expected to be for the in-game characters? Like, when they see big Melinoe, are they like, please step on me, mommy?
Unfortunately, I don't think in Hades 2 the characters are as horny. I do think there was some horny characters in Hades 1, at least Hades a couple of them that I remember. I haven't done a ton with the romances in this game yet, so I don't know if they get horny, but it's not as a horny.
I mean, they do have like the hot tub or the hot springs that you can unlock. So, and I haven't done any of that stuff yet because I'm just like, I need to conserve this because I'm still, I don't know, missing 3 things. I'm just focused on trying to get, all the cauldron stuff as I can and all that stuff and get all my storyline stuff. Usually I save that for okay, I've finished the game. Now let me go. Now that I still want to play it, let me go actually do all this. But this one might take a while because of that second run thing. And I'm okay with that. Like, every time I go back in, I'm like, I'm still having a good time with this. But I am at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a break for a little bit now, and let myself cool down a little bit. But every time I turn it on, I'm still having a lot of fun. It's a great game. I really like it.
Yeah. I'm at the point, there's a character that I know you can romance that I want to be the one that I romance that I've still not unlocked, despite having, quote unquote, beaten the game several times and, had however many hours into this. So I think that when I felt like I cleared a run not super quickly, but like quicker than I think I expected to.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I don't know that this one's gonna have the length that the first one felt like it did. And now as I'm going, I'm like, oh my god, there's still so much stuff that I'm unlocking. I don't even think I'm close.
I admittedly looked up what you have to do, because Hades is one, you just beat it a bunch of times and you're good, and you kind of feel it out. This one, I was like, how many times do what do you got to do in this one to get the full ending? Because I'm guessing the second run, I didn't expect the second run to be as like an actual full-fledged thing for some reason. When you go into it, it's just like, okay, I think this is going to be like a shorter little thing that you can do on occasion to get like a couple different things here and there. And I was like, no, this is still going, and it has bosses, and it's a whole different thing. Holy shit. Like, I was like really impressed and taken aback by that.
Well, and it's crazy because, what I expected was that it was just another run, but, it looks different, kind of how on Hades 1, you go through the 4 areas, and they're different to some degree. But for the most part, much. It's just the enemies are different. There's, lava in one and, whatever. The way that the path to Olympus works is almost completely different. Like, I will give a very vague kind of hint to the first area only. You go into a city, and the city has, I don't know, 10 to 15 rooms that you go to.
It's like a little hub world.
Yeah. And you see there's, I think it's 6 pillars, and you have to go into 6 rooms and break the pillars in those rooms and beat the enemies and whatever and get those boons. But you see all the boons that you'll get for the first area immediately. So as soon as you start a run, you're like, okay, I see 3 Poseidon boons. So I think I'm going to end up going a little Poseidon heavy. So let me go ahead and get those. Let's see what I'm going to get as far as my first couple choices. And then I can start to plot out my run a little bit more. Yeah. Whereas Hades, you've got a choice from 1 to 2 rooms, maybe 3 rooms, and going down to Hades itself. But it's a little bit more. You're going to come across what you end up finding.
Yep.
You actually get to plan it out when you're going out, so it just feels very different.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the differences in like some of the worlds. Like even like there's the third part in just the regular Underworld run where that was really different. Yeah, the morning fields where you get there and it's just like, oh hey, it's just like you get to one and it's just got a bunch of different symbols on it. I was like, what do you do here? And then then there's all these other little things that are optional that you can go get and stuff like that. It was, and same with that city. There's other little optional rooms that you can go into and clear out for little tiny bonuses and stuff like that. And I was like, this is fun. This is just a good video game. It's a very good sequel. Like I said, it's a good sequel that doesn't invalidate the first game, because I still feel like I could go back to that first game and still have fun. And I still end up sometimes with just builds in this one where I'm like, this is dumb, but I'm having a great time. Like just running around hitting people with lightning bolts, and just that's all I'm doing. Like just running away from everybody. That's really fun. It's good. It's really good. Hades 2. Excellent video
So help
game.
me understand. So to like basically like finish a run now, is it that you go all the way down and finish that and then go all the way up?
No.
Is that considered a run?
No,
or
you go all the way down.
Two separate components.
They're 2 separate runs.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you go all the way
Yeah,
down,
gotcha.
and then you fight that boss. And then if you beat that boss, you get a little story thing. And then after the story thing happens, it kicks you back to the hub world. And it's like, okay, whatever, you guys talk about whatever happens and move on.
You can go do the exact same Underworld run again over and over and over as much as you want. But there's also this other thing that you have to do, and there's different resources and different things that you get from doing each one. And that stuff contributes to like, oh hey, I want to get like this thing to wake this guy up or something like that. So I need the stuff from down here, or I need some stuff from up here. Or I want to make my Arcana cards stronger, so I need this ingredient from this boss or whatever. And so you're going to go fight that.
Which I will say, that's one of the things that I think I love the Arcana cards, so much more than I liked the mirror in Hades 1. And the mirror was fine. Like, I enjoyed it.
It's totally fine.
But in Hades 2, you have it starts out with, I think, 1 tarot card, and then when you unlock it, it unlocks 2 that are next to it. And then if you unlock either of those, it unlocks all the adjacent cards that are next to it, eventually forming like a 5x5 kind of grid that have all these cards, and you've got to buy them to unlock them, and they all have different abilities, and you can equip them, and each one is worth a different amount of points. So you say, oh, I've got 10 points. This one's worth 0, this one's worth 2, this one's worth 5, and you can equip as many as you're able to. And
the
all
zeros
of them have
you have to like have certain conditions met. Like you have to have one you have to have a full row completed and it'll unlock. One you have to have all the surrounding cards unlocked, and then that one's unlocked, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of play with the different combinations and stuff like that. It's really fun. It's really fun to mess with.
It's crazy in depth. And then the other thing that I really, really love that this one adds is they give you a pet companion.
Yeah.
So you have,
that's fun.
I think 5 different companions that you can add, and each one will participate in battle, help you out in some way. So like one of them, it's like a frog, and it hops on enemies and deals a little damage to them. One of them is a dog, and it can stun enemies. One of them is like a cat, and it will smack around enemies. But then you have to run next to it to wake it up and make it angry at things, which is kind of a fun little touch. Absolutely. And then they also, each animal has one of the 5 main resources that you're getting, because you can fish, you can get souls, you can get like a pickaxe to get bronze or a loot or whatever. Each of them has one of those resources that it's tied to, that it will make that resource more common, and it will make it to where you basically just pick up that resource and don't have to do whatever stupid little mini game is attached to it.
There's only one mini game I think is too long.
Soul one?
The soul one, it's neat. Like the first time, I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat, and then you do it a couple more times. You're like, I really wish I didn't.
You have to. Anymore. It basically has. You have to hit the trigger buttons.
The triggers.
So LZ and RZ for making them on the Switch, and it basically just says like, okay, hit L2. Okay, L2 and R2. Okay, R2. Okay, L2. And it's got however many little circles that have to fill up, and you have to do it for each one. But like eventually you're having to fill up like 7 or 8 circles. Like it's enough that it's like a 45 seconds of me just hitting L2 and R2.
It's enough of a kind of a roadblock, to do it. Sometimes you're just like, do I want to do it? I mean, I do want to do it because I need that, but oh god, okay, I guess
that's the reason frog is my default. Is because the frog makes it so you don't play that game.
Yeah. I like the frog, so yeah, he's fun. But yeah. That's like the only, the rest of them are just like, oh, you hit this a few times, you're done. Or fishing is like, oh, just time it when it goes down. It's fine. Like, fishing's the same as Hades 1 was. Those are fine. I don't mind that stuff at all. It's real quick, get in, get out. But that one, just for whatever reason, is just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it's a touch too long. Like you said, especially in the later areas, once it starts getting to like 7, you're like, okay, really? That's fine. But yeah.
Well, I guess to just kind of put a bow on that, because Xavier, I did see your question on Patreon, and I'll just address it here because you were curious, since I hadn't finished Hades 1, if I was going to try to like power through it and touch Hades 2 so that I can talk about for Game of the Year. And I'm not. I did play like a few hours of Hades 2 in early access, and it's probably a thing where one, I still do need to go back and finish Hades 1, and I don't know when that's going to happen. But also, I would rather play Hades 2 on my PlayStation or Xbox than my Switch or Steam Deck. So kind of waiting on that.
That is another thing I've noticed. I'm glad you mentioned it real quick. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm playing it on Switch 2. I really wish I was playing it on my PC, because Switch 2, every now and then, there's some weird performance shit every now and then. It's mostly not in combat. It's mostly when you're back at the fucking crossroads. Every now and then when it gets to certain scenes and shit, like if there's a lot of animation going on with characters, like it starts to really stutter out on me.
The only time I've experienced that is when I beat the first run. There's a moment where you're like going through this tunnel thing, and it's got colors and it's particle effects and whatever. I was going through that, and it stuttered for a second.
Yeah, it started to happen a lot more. At least maybe I've just noticed it a lot more. Like it's again, it's never been in combat, so I'm not complaining too much. Because if it did it, then I'd be like, okay, this is like unplayable.
Yeah.
But it always seems to be in like story scenes that only like happen every so often. So I can't complain too much, but I have noticed that shit happening. So yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as Game of the Year goes, it kind of, I haven't decided on who all's going to be on the final panel, but also it'll be one of those things where one, I already know the quality overall of what they do. And I'll kind of defer to Justin and whoever else is wanting to get it up the list. I mean, that's what happened last year with Balatro, right? I hadn't touched Balatro, but it ended up pretty high on the list. Here at least I have like enough hands-on experience with both of the games that I'm like, okay, no, I can totally see why you're fighting to get this one up the chain a little bit higher. So,
and I will say,
it's not going to be an issue.
I really enjoyed Hades one, but I do think at some point when you get around to playing it, where that story goes feels designed for you specifically.
Yeah, I tried to tell him this, but it really does. Yeah,
I know that, but it will really, I think, do a lot of cool stuff for you.
Yeah.
I just need to sit down and play it. Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys mind if we take a break?
I don't mind at all.
I need egg rolls. Okay, and we are back, and it is time for the return of the very hot new segment, Judge My Mix. 2 people told me that they enjoyed it, which is good enough.
That's good enough.
To get a repeat performance on this show.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Giant Bomb listeners, we are a small operation. you can make big changes.
You can
with your feedback and support at this show. Keep that in mind.
Hop in that Discord and steer this ship.
To recap for new listeners and for anybody who has forgotten, I recently brought this little bitty CD player into my office, and I got all my CDs back out, and in that big CD binder was a bunch of mix CDs that I made back around like 2006, 2007, in that time frame.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what's on them at this point. They used to have like a regular rotation back then, but it's been almost 20 years. So, and Justin is a notable music snob.
Yep.
And Xavier, feel free to weigh in as well. Judge My Mix. This second mix CD that I played is titled Meh with a period.
Okay.
That's what I wrote on the disc. First track, Linkin Park, What I've Done.
Okay, yeah.
I love Linkin Park, or I have loved Linkin Park. It kind of varies now. What I've Done is a choice.
The most beloved millennial band, I think, and I'm the minority that just does not like Linkin Park, and I never did.
Had you just watched the Transformers 2 or whichever one ends in that movie?
Listen, this was not that long after the first Transformers movie came out. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay.
And then track 2, continuing very closely with the theme of the opening track, Sarah Bareilles, Love Song.
Okay.
All right. So far, I would jam to this playlist.
Okay.
I'd throw it on.
All right. Track number 3, Smashing Pumpkins, 1979.
Okay, that's a good one. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
So far, not too bad.
Next up, Tori Amos, Spark.
I'm unfamiliar with most Tori Amos songs, but
that's fair.
Yeah.
I know Tori Amos, and I probably know this song, but I don't know any of her music.
Too, but I don't know. Off
the
top of my head, I don't know it. Yeah.
It starts out with the line, "She's addicted to nicotine patches."
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Damian Rice and Lisa Hannigan, Then Go. I don't expect either of y'all to know that one. It's fine.
I don't. Yeah.
I'm a huge Damian Rice fan, so I've got like, I think damn near every, if not every single piece of music that you can buy of his.
Sure.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, Bad Day.
Okay, you lost me. I have stopped.
Yeah, we
I don't like the normal version of Bad Day anymore.
Yeah,
I really liked that movie. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't watch the Squeakquel.
I've watched, sadly, I think both of them because they used to come on Cartoon Network, and I would just have that channel on a lot. Mm-hmm. And yeah, no, they were really bad movies. Yeah.
It just this feeds into my, like, I've never gotten into the HoloLive because of the voice, the different voices. There's something about, not even those voices in particular, but any kind of, like, obviously put on voice or filtered voice or something they aren't, though. Are they? Do they not do? Okay.
No, those are their voices.
Maybe I do, but like Alvin and the Chipmunks has that kind of where it just feels wrong listening to them sing. It doesn't bother me when they're speaking.
No, I get it.
But
it feels wrong acknowledging that train's an actual musical act, but what are you going to do?
Hopefully I don't butcher this. Israel Kamakami Wo'ole, Somewhere Over the Rainbow / What a Wonderful World.
Okay, sure, why not? I don't... Okay.
Y'all never heard that?
That's the cover with the guy that passed away a couple years ago. Really, yeah. That's a beautiful cover of a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smashing Pumpkins, Tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Thumbs up.
I love the Smashing Pumpkins. Or Smashing Pumpkins, I'm sorry. There's no the in front of it. Unless there is sometimes randomly when they have a greatest hits album. It's really weird. Yeah, but no, they're great. But Tonight was never my favorite one, but it's still a good song. Yeah, it's fine.
Also double dipping with Lisa Hannigan, solo this time, Needles. So again, she's an Irish folk act. I don't expect y'all to.
Not my scene. The Irish folk music.
Michael Jackson, Thriller.
Yeah, good song.
Fair, that's good. Yeah. This is a lot better than the last one so far.
Oh, okay. All
right. No, for real.
Noted. Tony Orlando, Knock 3 Times. That's an oldie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if I know that song.
Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me.
No, I do know that song.
Nope.
I
do know that.
Does not ring a bell.
Okay. And once again, just really consistent, theme and type of music. Faith No More, Epic.
I do love that song.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
actually need to. I need to explore more Faith No More music because I fucking love Epic, and I've literally never heard another one of their songs.
You're not alone. That's pretty much everybody. So don't feel bad.
I know John Gholson. He's actually a pretty big fan. Like he had I think multiple albums.
Lonnie is a big Faith No More guy too. So at least I think he is. He talks about him enough. I assume he is. But you never can tell. Is that the end of it? That's it?
No.
Okay, we're still going. Okay, good.
Yeah. Next up, Sarah McLachlan, Sweet Surrender.
All right, yeah.
Okay, why not?
I wither every time that laugh comes out of Justin on this bit. And then this one, I don't have an artist because I don't know who it is, but it is Rocks from Naruto. I believe that is the first intro song, from the very beginning of the show.
Sure.
All right.
Chantal Kreviazik, Feels Like Home, which incidentally comes from the Songs from Dawson's Creek album for context.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Yeah. And honestly, this is why I can't listen to music much anymore, because when that track came on, I started to like get teary-eyed because I listened to that album so many times and I was like, I can still feel 19-year-old Julian like jamming out to this.
Yeah.
In his Discman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I made this mix, I had to double down. So also Curtis Steiger's To Be Loved, also from Songs from Dawson's Creek.
Sure. Okay. You
And
did double
then-
down.
Rounding out the mix, Evanescence, My Immortal, very specifically the radio version
Yeah.
with the heavier guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you get Alvin and the Chipmunks out of there, and I think
It's
that is
not-
a respectable
Yeah, that's
mix at the very least.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
want the throw it on shuffle and the Linkin Park to Naruto to like
Yeah.
Sarah McLachlan like pipeline.
It's all over the map. Yeah. It's all over the map. Yeah, no, but in a way I don't hate. Yeah, the Alvin and the Chipmunks is man, that's a choice.
Yeah.
It has to bring it down at least a point or two. We'll say 1.5 points. How many tracks was there altogether?
Let me see.
That's a good question, I think, if I'm rating it.
Yeah. Hold on.
But also you had let's see,
17 again.
17 again. Okay. Yeah, Linkin Park to start with. I won't judge anybody on Linkin Park because I know that is a personal thing I have that I don't like. I don't like them, but I know other people do, and they're fine.
I will judge them positively.
There you go. Yeah, you're a millennial. You're allowed. I am
Absolutely.
too. But I'm.
I
just
remember
don't like
getting
them.
the Linkin Park Jay-Z album for my like 9th or 10th birthday.
Yeah. There you go. That sounds right.
was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this very much
That's-
makes me my last car that had a CD player in it. I got in a car accident. That's how I got rid of that car and got a new one. But I
Right.
had a CD wallet inside there, and
Okay.
Mhm.
kept the like mangled like carcass of the CD wallet. But
Sure.
only about half the CDs survived. But I'm pretty sure I still have that CD wallet in
Oh,
my
there you go.
attic. And when you did this the first time, I'm like, man, do I want to dig through my attic and find
Right.
a 15-year-old
Right.
mix?
Yeah.
We do have a listener submitted mix for another time.
Good.
Oh,
Good.
excellent.
I'm into that.
Is it 60?
Yeah, no, but
No,
Smashing
extra.
Pumpkins. Smashing Pumpkins are on there. That's cool. It's more the softer Smashing Pumpkins songs, but that's fine. Let's see what else, what other highlights are there? There's oh god, I mean it's not terrible. That album, the Chipmunk song, really brings it down. Because I can't even get behind that. Ironically, I'm sorry, I just can't.
Would you rate the
what
first
did I
mix?
say? The last one was about a 6.
You said it was a 6 for irony, and then a 3 like just
Right.
by itself
This is
without
way
the
better
irony
than
tilt.
that one. This one I'm
Okay.
like, okay, this is fine. I'm gonna say this is like maybe a 7.5. I'm gonna say it's about a
Okay.
7.5. Not bad, and unironically too. There's
Okay.
yeah. I mean, you have some good shit. It's okay.
My initial thought was 8, but I
Uh-huh.
really cannot let Alvin and the Chipmunks go.
That's
So
fair.
I think I have to do a 6. I'm gonna deduct
Okay,
2
6.
for Alvin and Simon and Theodore.
I'm going off my previous rating of the one because that
Yeah.
one was pretty bad. This and I added points for irony.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Good to know. We'll see what happens moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun bit. I like that.
Excellent.
I have to
I'm
dig
glad.
out. I might have some in my car. Maybe, and I'm in the place where my car is. Maybe I should go through that real quick.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun. The problem is that I might not know any of the shit that you have.
It's possible, but a lot of the mixes that I put together were a lot of more popular music that I only wanted like one song of, and I think I had a lot of stuff on there that I needed on there for irony purposes. So, yeah.
I listened to a lot of like punk and pop punk in the era that I
Sure.
was making CDs, and I feel like I would
Yeah.
mostly look at that in shame because so many of those bands turned out to have at least one just gigantic piece of shit in them.
Yeah, you'll have that. Yeah, you'll definitely have that. Yeah. It's an unfortunate unfortunate thing, you know. What are you gonna do?
And it's kind of what we talked about last week,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Is that like these days, eventually everybody reveals themselves to be awful, and it's just that now we're aware of it because we see a side of them that was not visible,
right,
for so many years
Yep.
of like, you know, creative endeavors,
Right.
and now it's just like, oh, you can just say the shit that you were thinking, and you never thought that you shouldn't just say the shit that you were
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
these days,
Right.
So
that's pretty much it.
Justin, did you get up to anything else gaming wise this
sad-
week, or has it been pretty much Hades 2 all the time?
Man, I've just been Hades 2ing it up every chance I get. So yeah,
Excellent.
that's been about it for me. Unfortunately, I bought.
No, I get it.
I bought Ghost of Yote today. I was gonna play it yesterday. I've been busy. I'm dog sitting, at my father's house right now, which is where I guess all my stuff is still here for the most part. And for the most part, I've just been doing shit that I've been meaning to do for a long time now, and I was just like, I'm probably not coming back here for a while. I really need to get X, Y, and Z done over the course of these 4 days. So I've been nose to the grindstone on some of that shit. Things I've been putting off for years now. I'm like, all right, time to get that done in like 2 hours. So here we go. And yeah, that's what I did. But yeah, I did get it done. So I feel accomplished there.
Excellent.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, speaking of accomplishments, I did finish Wanderstop, and I don't really have much more to say. That, you know, we kind of already covered it last episode. I will say that it didn't do the one thing that I thought it might do, which would have fucked me up at the end, and I was kind of surprised that it didn't, but also kind of happy that it didn't also. But ultimately, I was a little disappointed in the ending, and I kind of thought that there would be a choice at the end, and there's not. But again, I think so much of that game is very much like, we're just going to flip all your expectations of what you think of when you're playing a video game, and that's just, you just have to deal with it, right? Like a lot of that game is just like, this is different, just deal with it, just go with it, it's fine. And it's like, I can acknowledge that, and I'm like, but it's not, but there's like a part of the back of my brain, but it's not fine. Like I want closure, I want this, I want that, like it was also just weird because like even just the way it handles trophies, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that it is all just time based. So I actually got the platinum a good 2 hours before I finished the game, because they're not tied to anything that you do.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I was just in there long enough to get it, and I was like, man, that feels weird. Like, I did enjoy it. You know, I think it's worth playing. I think it's a very different game, and I think depending on your personal mindset, I can see it being like, holy shit, this is like one of the best games that I've played in a while. I think I was just never able to relax the way that it wants you to. But I also appreciated that Alta as a character kind of is never able to relax the way that Boro is telling her to. And I was like, okay, I do feel like a really strong connection to her, because I'm like in lockstep with how she's feeling.
Yeah, that is kind of the one thing I did like about the game, is they kind of know that you're more or less like her. So as for a character with her own stuff going on, like she is very relatable in that sense. So,
especially because, like, you know, a lot of her thing is like, well, I want to be the best, and you know, like I'm very much like a nose to the grindstone, like get it done type of person. Well, she is, and I am not that, right? Like I'm like a man, like I will push this off, you know, for months if I can get away with it. I don't. It's fine. But even so, like there's I think I've talked about, you know, there's just like sometimes that gamer pride that comes up, and sometimes I don't like the feeling of having that, but it is there, right? And so this definitely was like at odds with how I engage with video games, and I appreciate that it was challenging that, but I think ultimately it wasn't quite satisfying, but good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. I'm kind of right there with you. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
ultimately, depending on how many games I actually get finished, it's probably pretty low in my top 10. But you never know.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it either. I liked it enough, but it wasn't. Looking back on it, I don't think it was like the greatest thing I've ever experienced or anything like that. I just think it's a very neat game. That's what how I ended. I remember getting done and being like, that was a neat game, and that was about it.
And it didn't have to be like the greatest thing
No.
ever, but I do think that like that initial trailer sold me on an experience that never quite delivered on what I was hoping for based on that first
that
vibe.
trailer is really something. But yeah, I think you're right. So
yeah. I have also put in a decent chunk more time into Hell Is Us.
Sure.
And I am really enjoying it. It is very much a nook and cranny type of game.
Okay.
It's the type of thing where it's like you are really, it's to your benefit to look around those corners, and when you get to like a fork in the road and realize that you're on the path that's moving you forward, to be like, you know what, let me circle back and just make sure that I didn't, there's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a really cool thing. And I love the way that you're really incentivized to put the pieces together yourself.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's plenty of, even though like the big thing is like, hey, we're not going to like track stuff. I mean, they do track stuff, but we're not going to like have quest markers on the map for you. There actually is no map for one. And it's, we're not going to like lead you down the path or what have you. You kind of have to figure it out yourself. Even with all of that, there's still plenty of information given. You just have to pay attention. And I appreciate that. I like having to be like, I need to put my phone down. I need to listen to what people are saying. I need to be taking note of the environment and everything. So like a really good example, and this was a total side quest, but I was exploring that first settlement a little bit deeper than I had the first time that I rolled in there. And I found like this total new area. Like I was down in these sewers and there was all sorts of enemies and items that I was picking up and notes and stuff. And then I heard like a baby crying, and I was like, that doesn't seem like a thing that I should be hearing. And so I'm like, is this like a horror thing? Because, I'm still trying to come to grips with like what the hell is going on in this world and whatnot. And I end up like going through all of these winding paths and everything. And I find an old woman taking care of a newborn that is crying because she ran out of milk. And you can pick up a bunch of bottles. And then I was like, there was a cow at the farm at the beginning of the game. I'm wondering if I can go back there and milk the cow. And so I went back there and I went to inspect the cow, and I couldn't do anything with it. I was like, oh man, I really thought that was it. And then I was like, well, let me go talk to the guy that lives here. And then sure enough, I was able to trade him the bottles, and he filled them with milk for me. And I was like, that's really cool, because like there's nothing special about the cow other than the fact that it's a living cow.
Right.
And there's not a lot of stuff that's alive in the world besides like the surviving humans and then the monsters.
Right.
So I took note of that, just like, oh, there's a cow. Right. But then the fact that it like tied into the side quest was like really neat. And so far, like, I'm not getting any rewards for the side quests. It's more of just like, and they call them good deeds, right?
Sure.
But I'm digging the fact that that's what it is, because so much of the game is about the loss of humanity when we reveal the worst of ourselves to each other, and taking the time to do a good thing for someone when all of this terrible shit is happening. I continue to be very pleased and kind of blown away by that game. And I do, it's one of those things where it's like, there's no way that they would have known like exactly what's going on in the world when the game came out. But goddamn if it isn't like very like this, minus the monsters, this is like kind of spot on about what's going on right now. So I'm really enjoying it. I think it's one that people really should take a look at and not let slip by. I'm really enjoying the combat. I've gotten into like a really nice flow with it now where I'll be at a point where, oh shit, I've lost like half of my overall health, because as you take damage, your max health and stamina decreases. But if you do that really well-timed health regen as you're attacking enemies, that goes back up. And so sometimes it'll be like, oh shit, I'm kind of in a bad way here, and then I finish a fight and then I'm back up to like full health again, like what 100% of the max health. And that's like a really cool feeling when like I really like lock in and do really well with the combat, and I'm rewarded with like getting everything back that I lost. Yeah. And again, it's not punishing in the way that the Souls game is. The enemies in an area respawn when you leave the area completely and then return to it.
Oh, okay.
But they don't respawn when you die or anything like that. So, and then apparently like there's like a time anomaly in each area that I think if you kill all of the time loop guardians in the area and then go into that thing and clear it out, that stops the enemies in the zone from spawning.
Okay. There you
period. Go. So you can actually, I guess, ideally like just like clear out the entire game of enemies by the end if you're like really on it. So that's kind of a cool.
That's kind of neat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really digging it.
You said the demo for this game does not carry over, right?
It does not. No. I would say like play it up until you get to the APC, and because that's where I stopped. And I think that's a really good indication of like what that game is, and you can kind of decide from there if you're into it or not.
This is a bad specific time of the year, but I really do want to check this game out. Everything you said about it sounds very appealing.
Yeah. Also really digging the soundtrack. It's a really nice, like synthy, like atmospheric. I think when I play the demo, like I mentioned, it kind of sounds like a John Carpenter joint.
Okay. Yeah.
And I continue to feel that way. The only other thing that I ended up getting up to is I went over to Big Baker's house for another game night. And we ended up playing the board game version of Plague Inc., which I had never played.
Sure.
But I really had a lot of fun with it, to the point that then when I got home that night, I bought Plague Inc. on Steam.
Right.
And I remembered hearing about that game when it came out, because I think it was a mobile game first. And, I know that like a lot of people were really into it. It was one of those games that kind of made it onto most of my podcasts in a time when it would only be like a handful of those mobile games that would kind of make it above like, yeah, it's just a thing that I do in my spare time, and there's no point in talking about it. And if people don't know, you are a virus, and the goal of the game is to infect everybody in the world and then kill off everybody in the world. And I wasn't aware of that initially, because the first game that I played, I killed everybody in the world, but I lost because I hadn't infected everybody before I started killing them all. And I guess that's kind of the issue that I have, is that it's listed as a 100% Steam Deck compatible game, and that's just not true.
Sure.
Like the tutorial bugs out on Steam Deck, like you can't complete it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I had unlocked a couple of extra like virus modes. There's like a simian one and a vampire one. And on both of those on Steam Deck, you literally cannot access the tabs where you evolve those particular viruses in order to play the scenario.
Right.
Oh,
so that's kind of an issue.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm just kind of having trouble. So like I was playing the simian. So what I ended up doing is I went to my laptop to go play the tutorial, because that's the only way that I could get it done. And I did that. And then I was like, okay, well, let me check out the simian thing on the laptop, because clearly it's not working on the Steam Deck. And so I'm doing the scenario and everything. And then at a certain point, because in this scenario, it's like this one lab in Brazil is working on like some sort of ape testing, and it's supposed to like increase their intelligence or something like it's based on Planet of the Apes. It's like, it was like some promotional tie-in with one of the movies. And at a certain point, because the way that the Plague Inc. works is that you need to keep you want to keep your infectivity like high enough to where it's spreading quickly, but you want to keep the symptoms kind of down to a level to where they're not too concerned about looking for a cure.
Right.
Obviously, if you've got like hella crazy symptoms or it's something that's killing people, they're going to be a lot quicker about looking for a cure.
Right.
Other than just like, oh, this is just like kind of an annoyance that everybody's getting infected with, but it's not a problem. It's just like,
Right.
yeah, you're going to have a scratchy throat for a couple days, whatever.
It goes away, right?
So there's like a strategy of like, okay, I want to keep I want to get my infectivity up here for this part, and then I want to start ramping up the symptoms to make it like more severe, but kind of keep it from getting too noticed from the world.
Right.
And so with the simian thing, I got to a point where the lab that had been doing the testing was aware of the virus, and so they were working on a cure. And at a certain point, a tooltip was like, hey, they're almost done making a cure. If only there was a way to make the apes rise up and do it. Oh, actually, I take that back. That's the scenario that I played on the Steam Deck, and that I realize now, right, okay. Because I couldn't access the other shit. And so I didn't know there was anything else to do. So never mind. That was actually my I need to play that on the laptop to see what I can actually do.
Right.
Because it was the same thing with the vampire scenario where I started on the Steam Deck and I couldn't do anything. And I was like, what is this? And then when I played on the laptop, I was like, oh, there's this whole other thing where you're like evolving the vampire's abilities and, you know, having it go out and make new vampires. I just could not access that stuff on the Steam Deck version, which is super annoying because I would much rather play it on the Steam Deck. But it is really cool. It's because it's so well done with like the way that it communicates the information of how things spread. And apparently they did use it to help with like some COVID-19 modeling, like back at the height of the pandemic. But it's like, if someone had just like run this for the fucking orange overlord at the time and just shown him the sped up version and show like, look, this is what happens if we don't do anything. Do you see how the red starts to spread everywhere over the world? Maybe that would have done something. I mean, it probably wouldn't have, but I hear that he likes to see pictures and visuals. He doesn't like to read anything.
Have you ever played Pandemic? Because I have no experience with Plague Inc., but I always put them together in my mind. And so I've kind of, not discounted, but just kind of brushed past Plague Inc.
No, but as Big Baker was explaining it to me, she said that at least in the board game version of Plague Inc., it's a lot smoother of an experience, because she was saying that like they didn't like playing Pandemic because there were scenarios where like you could die in like the opening of the game.
Yeah.
Depending on how things go down.
You just get screwed with the rolls and the countries you flip and stuff. So
yeah, and on that note, you know, because Xavier, you were on our first game of the year where, you know, I was talking about my bad luck with Baldur's Gate 3 rolls.
Yeah.
There's a part in Plague Inc. where basically if you have control of a country, at the end of your turn, you can roll a dice to see if you take that country out, like off the board, depending on your lethality.
Sure.
But I guess I did that prematurely because I wasn't really understanding the rules. So I had actually like filled up a country on my first turn, and she was like, well, you don't have any other places to be. So if you roll a 1 and which normally you want to do, because that's how you would like kill a country, but
right.
Since you don't have anywhere else to go, you effectively like kill yourself off, and then it's gonna like be a penalty. And then sure enough, like I get the 1 there. But then any other time pretty much that I needed to get the roll to knock out a country, no. I'm cursed. I'm cursed when it comes to dice. It kind of amazing.
Way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am currently playing Baldur's Gate 3 extremely slowly with one of my buddies that lives in St. Louis. And so we're doing, you know, an hour or two every couple weeks or a month or so. And
right.
He is also, I mean, as long as I've known him, he has been cursed with dice rolls. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, yeah, you have bad rolls every once in a while, but we're playing on normal. I have played this game and gotten to Act 3 in the whatever the hardcore mode is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is the most painful, difficult playthrough of this game that I've ever experienced. Like, we'll go up, and I'm trying to let him do everything, and I just give him nudges every once in a while. I'm like, maybe you should talk to this person, or maybe we should save, and then we can go try this. If he can screw up a dialogue option to force us into the worst version of the battle, he will do it every single time. And like, I'll see him, crank out 15s, 18s, whatever on the most pointless nothing rolls. But the second that roll counts, I mean, it's a 10 at most. If we're lucky, we're getting 10s.
Yep.
Yeah, man. When I was playing it, I was just like, oh man, again? Like, really?
Yeah.
It's just, it became like kind of uncanny. I don't know, man. And that's been my experience with like any time that I have to roll dice in any type of board game situation or tabletop situation.
Right.
It's kind of insane. Well, any other like game type stuff we want to hit up? Xavier, Justin, because that's all I've got.
That's all I really got.
No
too,
game stuff. Do either of you have any movie anything? I have one movie adjacent thing.
I'll go for it.
I do not for this week.
So my one thing that I do have, I recently saw Demon Slayer at the theater. And not a ton to go into. It's the last season is broken into 3 movies. So it's one of those, like, if you're not already on the Demon Slayer train, like, this is not the way to get onto it. It's the beginning of the final arc. But I don't know if it's just a novelty thing, but seeing a anime that I've grown accustomed to watching at home on like my normal TV, which, I have a solid size TV, I have a good sound system, I have a good setup for my TV, but seeing this movie in theaters really blew me away. And I think Demon Slayer is like a great version for that, because it's such a beautiful, like stylish anime. And the soundtrack is usually so good, the score and the music that they drop. But I just really, really enjoyed it, and has kind of reignited. I've seen a couple anime movies in theaters, but I often kind of dismiss anime movies in the theater. I'm like, I'll just catch it at some point at home, or it's really made me want to go through and watch them. Any kind of that are coming up. And my local theaters, at least, I've got an AMC near me and then like a local chain, are both doing Studio Ghibli marathons for like one going up to Halloween, and then they have one that's like planned that they're already advertising for like the Christmas season to put a lot of those movies. And it really makes me want to like Nausicaa Valley of the Wind and Spirited Away, and try and catch these in these big, I'm still such a sucker for just sitting in a dark room and letting the great sound and picture like wash over me. I still think it's such a great experience, but it's one that I've not really had with anime very much. Mm-hmm. And it really does feel like a new way to see some of this stuff. It very much it has impressed me. But.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of like the anime series movies in the theater. Mm-hmm. Obviously I've seen some of the Ghibli stuff that when it came out in the theater, like Mononoke and Spirited Away, and they're kind of like every year. I want to say it's Regal that does a or maybe it's just Fathom Events that like every summer they'll do like a Ghibli thing where it's like I think every month is like a couple of the movies and stuff like that. I just always forget about going.
Right.
I want to see more. My thing is like the older ones, because those are the ones that I watched on that cable access show back in the day. Right. So, like Porco Rosso and Castle in the Sky and stuff like that. So those are the kind of the ones that I'm interested in revisiting theatrically, because I think that'd be a trip. But I've never gotten around to doing it. The last thing that I did was that Dan to Dan thing, which I thought was a movie that was like connecting season 1 to season 2, but actually what it was the finale of season 1 and then the first 3 episodes of season 2. And I was like, oh, okay, that was weird. And they didn't even show like like the new intro for season 2. So I didn't even see that until like I started watching it on Hulu. And I do have to say, Dan to Dan continues to be great.
Yeah.
But there was something that happened in season 2 that is like very specific, and I don't know. I mean, obviously it's for people like me, because I don't know who else would fucking get it. Because one of the main characters ends up getting possessed by a demon.
Okay.
And long story short, they find out that if he gets splashed with hot water, the demon comes out. If he gets splashed with cold water, he turns back to human. And I clocked the reference right away. But when they tell this to the character, he starts going yapapa yapapa ishanten, and that's the theme song to the original version of Ranma 1/2. But that anime is 40 fucking years old,
right? And
there's currently a new version of Ranma 1/2 with a completely different theme song. So I'm like, that is a really oddly specific joke for what I feel is a very small audience at this point.
Right.
I feel like it's gonna.
But I appreciate it. It made me laugh.
It's gonna lead to more people like, what is that? I know that. Like, what is that?
Like, what's that reference?
Yeah.
The State Select is made possible through the support and funding of viewers like you. Here are our wonderful patrons.
Well, before we move on, I guess we just have one thing left to do. But before that, Justin, once again, it is beyond past time to thank our lovely patrons.
Yes.
We just kind of the conversation has been flowing lately, so we appreciate all of our lovely patrons. But every week we like to thank the executive producer tier, and this week we have Blaine Faya, who is a new patron at the executive producer tier.
I've seen that.
He signed up as for a 7-day free trial, which that's how I was aware that the 7-day free trial is now working. Because it was like there's like certain features on Patreon that you can sign up for, and they just eventually activate.
Yeah,
and I guess it activated. So like, if you're interested in checking out what we do, you can get a 7-day free trial on Patreon.
There you go.
For our executive producer tier. So go check it out, and you can get access to everything that we do. But thank you, Blaine.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Blaine. We have Bill Tucker of A Gamer Looks at 40.
We have Dr. Delicious.
We have Addy XD.
We have 60. The real 60, not the thing that has taken over their life.
That's fun. We have Game Johnson of Retrofits.
We have Big Baker.
We have Eric Peacock of Soundtracker.
We have Raymond Crum.
We have Dennis Robertson.
We have Matt Jorgensen.
We have Bookie.
We have David Portnov.
We have Stephen Lobo.
We have Xavier Kreiger. That's you.
That's me.
That's him. I know them.
We
have X-Rian.
We have Casey Curran.
And we have Philip P.K. Becker.
Yes, thank you to everybody for supporting the show. Worth noting that at the executive producer tier, you get access to all of our extra content, including what is rapidly becoming my favorite thing that we do, which is Cinemorons, a movie and TV watch-along show that I continue to really have a ton of fun with.
Yeah, it's fun
doing with Justin.
We
just did Sinners, which will be coming out soon. I don't know if it'll be out before this episode comes out, but it will be out soon.
That was the only other movie thing that I did this week was watch that. And no, I watched that. I watched, of course, Ouija: The New Beginning.
Of course,
classic of cinema. Forget? I mean, just a juggernaut. Ouija: The New Beginning. Man, seriously, stop what you're doing and go watch Ouija: The New Beginning. It's a masterpiece of garbage. And I think the other movie I watched was called As Above, So Below.
Oh, I like As Above, So Below.
Yeah, that was not bad. It was not bad. Reminded me of like Blair Witch for some reason, because it's all like headcam stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, that was a neat movie. It was a neat movie.
I need to get my...
So you have not had a chance to check out The Void yet?
Oh, that was the other one I watched. I did watch The Void.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and? I forgot about that. I'm glad you reminded me. It was okay. I think I really like the monster aspect of it. not getting into specifics, I think I really wanted like more of an answer as to what the hell was going on at a certain point. I was like,
Sure.
There was a certain point where I was like, okay, but what is this actually? Like, this is cool, but what is happening actually? I was kind of a little confused. But it was not bad. It was pretty neat.
Really love the effects in that movie.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. And like I said, it really does give me like some really strong like survival horror game
very
vibes.
much so. Yes, absolutely. That I can agree with for sure.
Like I would play a video game based on The Void. Absolutely.
That would be pretty good. That would have something, I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's funny because I know that movie was pretty like well regarded, but no sequel.
No,
like, just a one and done.
It's which I appreciate that.
Sometimes you want that for sure.
Yeah, that I guess I don't know. There was a certain point where I was just like I kind of want to know exactly what this is, but I know that's the point of it. I think
sure.
It was different. I guess the other thing I did watch Fallout, like the second episode of Fallout, and that's a good series. I can see why people like that one. So I mean I like the games, so it has that sense of humor about it while fucked up shit is happening, which is fun. So yeah, it works out pretty
interesting
well.
That you're kind of taking it fairly slow though.
Yeah, fairly. An episode like once a week or something like that. Whenever the mood takes us, I guess, is how we're watching the Fallout series. But yeah, it's so far so good.
I never fell in love with the games. I always went to Skyrim. I was like, if I'm going to play this type of game, I always went that way. But I really did love that TV show. I'm glad they're doing a second season. I'm excited for it.
I said it about, when I watched the first episode, I think there are parts in the series that I'm like, if the game would have done this, that shit would have been fucking awesome. But like the whole opening bit with the vault is like, this is great.
It's
this would have been a great intro.
They would have to do a much more guided character, I think, than
for
Fallout
sure.
typically does. But it'd be really cool. Have either of you guys seen One Cut of the Dead?
Yes.
That is,
I love that movie.
So I'd never heard of that movie. The Eye of the Duck podcast is currently doing a found footage series, and they're just going through a bunch of different found footage movies, and they covered that one recently. And it I heard the first 20 or 30 minutes of it and got so interested. I was like, I have to stop this, go and watch it, and went back. And that movie is fascinating. Like, it's really incredible. I definitely think you should check it out, Justin.
Thank you for bringing that up, Justin, or Xavier. Justin, it is a single cut horror movie.
Okay.
And the stuff that they do with it is fucking phenomenal.
Okay.
It's Japanese, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
and
okay.
It starts out as one thing and ends as something almost completely different.
Right.
And really gives you like a cool look at kind of how it takes on the same thing from different angles in this one shot zombie-esque movie. It's really cool.
It was a movie that I watched on my own and then immediately had to show it to a friend.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, no, that looks neat. Yeah. I have to remember that.
Man, yeah, I need to rewatch that because it's been a bit and highly enjoyed it.
There you go. All
well,
right.
Before we get out of here, we do have some comments, questions, or concerns. If you have comments, questions, or concerns, there's plenty of ways to get at us. You can email us. The email address is thestageselectpod@gmail.com. You can comment on the posts over on Patreon or YouTube or Spotify, or you can join our Discord, and there is a channel in the Discord for comments, questions, or concerns. Link for the Discord is in the show notes. And I'll just say it again. We are a very small but passionately created podcast, and it's a thing where if you write into us, you're gonna get on the show.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
We're not at that threshold where we have too much coming in that we have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
I will say, for the new people that are listening to it from Giant Bomb or from whatever source, something that this show has done that they also did with Nerds Without Pants, that, you know, when I listen to them, is I think that Justin and Julian have done a great job of creating a community with their show. You know, they have their own show, they do their own thing, but they make the people that are listening pull them in and have them as part of it. And, you know, like with the Blaine Fea moment a couple moments ago, where Julian read that, where like they have these moments where they, you know, very much care about the people that are listening to their show and give them these like little moments of respect and bringing them in. And it is a very wonderful community to be a part of. It's definitely something that you guys should stick around and check out.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things where we're at a point where we're able to take the time to get to know listeners individually and stuff like that. And so we kind of know, you know, like we can call them out by name for certain bits or jokes or whatnot, because we know them well enough to be able to do that. So it's almost like when you're watching like a smaller streamer, right? And they're able to like banter with like their handful of regular watchers. So, you know, maybe one day we'll get to a point where we're bigger than that, but get in on the ground level.
Yeah. There you go.
And Justin, we actually do have a couple YouTube comments.
Oh boy.
Surprisingly.
Oh God, I'm already afraid.
This first one comes from episode 73, titled "I'm Still a Fan of the Bum Bum Song." And the comment comes from Lordly Weeb.
Okay.
Who says, "I think Borderlands just isn't for you guys, and that's fine. But there's some points I wanted to mention.
Sure.
1, you find safe houses and hub areas as you explore, and at any time you can send your gear back to the bank that they have, which is shared between them.
Okay. Yeah.
2, you can teleport to safe houses and these things called silos anytime after you've discovered them, except for maybe a few story sequences.
Sure.
3, safe houses and silos also have all vending machines for you to sell at. Speaking of, you can pick up gear as junk and sell all of it with a button press at any vending machine.
Sure.
4, Vex, the playable character that you mentioned, is very much supposed to be cringe. She got her powers while she was stressed out working solo shift during the equivalent of a Black Friday sale and is trying to capitalize on them, thinking she's the coolest.
That's fair.
They go on, I also disagree with you saying the skills don't feel impactful. There's a lot of variance with every character, given that they have 3 skill trees, with each tree having 3 separate branches. I don't mean to sound like the gamer series is flawless or that you have to like it. The game does have UI and cross-character progression problems beyond the performance. That discussion just kind of sounded like someone who knows they don't like these games forcing themselves to play it.
No, that's not exactly it. I enjoyed the gameplay part of Borderlands 3. I enjoy like all like the wacky guns and shit like that sometimes in that series. For the most part, this one just didn't click. I think it was, I don't know, the looter shooter genre in general, just like, yeah, I know you can pick up everything as junk and all that stuff. That's fine. But like, it's more button presses than I want to do. And half the time I'm like, well, if I'm just picking this thing up as junk, then why am I picking it up in the first place? I don't know. I always have a weird thing when that comes up.
Sure.
I've never been a big fan of that concept. Like, oh yeah, I'll pick this up to sell it. Like, I don't know. I feel like I should want to pick things up because they're cool. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I actually went back and listened to that section again. And I think you did a pretty good job of kind of explaining your caveats. But, you know, it's when you're really passionate about a game, sometimes you'll miss certain parts, right? Like, it's one of those things where, like, I love Mass Effect 1 so much, specifically for the gameplay, right? And so anytime that I hear somebody talking and just automatically dismissing Mass Effect because it has like shitty gameplay, I'm like, God damn it, no, it's not.
And also they played the game a lot longer than I have. I guarantee you they played it a lot longer than I did.
And it sounds like part of it is they were just kind of letting you know that like some of the issues that you had like do get addressed.
I'm sure they
as
do.
You get further.
I'm sure they do. What it all boils down to is like trust me, I didn't force myself to play it. It was I really wanted something to play just in my, you know, just to kind of have something to do, I guess, which now that's, Hades 2. That one just didn't click. It just didn't click for me. Like I played a lot more of 3 than I thought I would, even with like I didn't like the humor in that game or anything, but like I had a good time just shooting shit in that game. Like I was like, yeah, no, there's something to it. Like I'm having an all right time doing this. Sometimes like you just get like in those types of games, sometimes you just get like one gun and you're like, oh, I like this. This is making the game fun for me. But like I just didn't find it, and sure, if I put more hours into it and put the time in, eventually I might have come around to it, but it just didn't click for me in time, I guess is the thing. So agree to disagree, but that totally fair judgment on that. Absolutely.
And I was like, when I saw a comic, I was like, oh, what is it? And it's like, oh no, that was actually like a really well constructed,
absolutely perfectly
informative
fair
comment. So
perfectly fair.
And also, because I think there's a lot of weirdness with YouTube these days, because like the way that like you actually see, or the way that it actually surfaces like views and stuff like that. But worth noting that like these 2 YouTube comments that we have are on episodes that don't have any watch time really. So I'm wondering if like they actually listened to us somewhere else and then came to YouTube to comment, which is totally cool to do. Like I said,
absolutely.
Or they did find us on YouTube, and it's just that it didn't show on the back end that they watched
stuff
there.
Is weird,
But either way, appreciate it. And then we do have another YouTube comment from episode 74, not that Drake, from X149TE. And this was actually in reference to when I was talking about Chrono Gear. They had basically like 2 comments from timestamp parts.
Okay.
First one, they kind of did it better in Chrono Gear in 2 years than in FP2 in 7 years. The level of passion is crazy, and they're now implementing better navigation in the maze level. I did ask them for clarification on what FP2 is, and apparently it's Freedom Planet 2.
Oh.
So apparently like the solo dev that initially started working on Chrono Gear was on that team.
Okay.
And then kind of did this as a passion project and then brought some more people in to get it across the finish line. But I'm honestly surprised that they did it in 2 years.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Based
really.
on like the polish of that game and the quality of the animation and the sprite work.
Yeah.
And also just the fact that like it doesn't have any of the characters from the last couple gens.
Sure.
I was like, oh, they started working on this like 5 years ago or well, I guess it would have been like more like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But no, that's actually pretty impressive. Like even more impressive than I thought.
For sure. That's cool.
But my thing for the maze level is that it's not the navigation that I had a problem with. It's just the enormity of the level itself. Like I was just like, I'm ready for that level to finish. Like it wasn't that I was having trouble with it. I was just like, this is like 3 times longer than any of the other levels in the game.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to be done. And then the second comment, in regards to me complaining about the way that like the time powers aren't really utilized very well.
Yeah.
They said, unironically, this may be a good thing. I've seen a lot of streamers that couldn't handle switching powers. About the Chrono Gear power, they forgot even during the Gander boss battle, which is one of the last fights.
Sure.
And they go on to say this is a lot of buttons for a platformer.
Yeah.
Which is true.
That's probably fair, yeah.
But I think that if you had been building that up over the course of the game with like, okay, here's more puzzles that involve the time powers, here's more bosses that are incentive, that there's a reason that you have to use the time powers in order to do a certain thing. I think that over time you build up that, that muscle memory with activating them. And I think it actually could have been a more fleshed out mechanic, but maybe if they get to do another one or something, at the end of the day, like I still really had a blast with it.
Sure.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then heading on over to our Discord, we'll just do a couple of these and then I'll save some for next week.
Sounds good.
Exrian says, all right, let's hear it. Who are the horniest video game characters?
Oh, wow. Commander Shepard. Commander Shepard.
I was actually going to say Jack from Mass Effect.
No, Jack. I don't really see that as for them really, because they kind of use that as more of like a manipulative type of thing, or vice versa. But they don't really like. They got stuff. I think Commander Shepard just seems to like try to get with everybody.
If you play him that way,
yeah.
I mean, Leisure Suit Larry, obviously.
I was gonna say Geralt in The Witcher. I mean, it's a whole thing. Yeah, that's a good question. Trying to think of who else.
I feel like so many. It's hard because so many of the protagonists that can have sex, it's just up to you on.
Yeah, it's
how
up to
you want
you.
to play
Yeah,
them.
right.
And it's just like
Oh,
okay. Yeah,
I've actually got it.
Barring protagonists, let's bar protagonists because that is player choice. You're right.
Kinsey from Saints Row.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
She's literally named after the Kinsey report. Like,
right.
Yeah. This is a protagonist, but not a choice one. Kratos is depending on like the early games, the PS2 ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's so much horny as he is like, well, you're there.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's not like
I'm
a thing
trying
that
to
he's
forget,
like, man, I've really
whether
gotta
it's
fuck
alcohol
someone.
or sex or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem, I think, is like, if we're talking protagonists,
sure.
I mean, he's just horny on main all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
With the smallest dick energy of probably any of
Very
of
true.
them.
Very true. Oh boy, now I'm kind of going through my list here.
I do agree with one that I saw in the CQC discussion thread in Discord from Casey, which is Bayonetta.
Yeah,
but she's very picky about who she chooses.
Sure.
But she's very horny on main.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole character for sure. Yeah, but that's kind of what makes them fun, in a way. Yeah, I'm trying to think. You said Jack from Mass Effect. I'm trying to think. There's got to be a different one from that. Miranda in Mass Effect 2 is actually like, she has that whole like bit, I think it's in either 2 or 3, where she like is on like Tinder and just like doesn't
in the Shadow Broker DLC.
Yeah.
But I think hers is more like it's like a transactional, like, well, it's been a while, let me just like find someone
that's possible. Oh, the one they're an NPC. They're the one Quarian that's in the bar that's talking to like a Turian. I think it's in 2. It's on one of the
about the Asari.
Oh no, you've got it flipped. It's the Turian talking to the Quarian.
Yeah. Well, but it's the Quarian has like stuff in her suit and shit like that she's talking about, if I remember correctly.
Oh, see, I'm remembering him basically trying to get into her suit the whole time.
But like they're both kind of like really horny, it seems like, the entire time.
Right.
I guess you could say almost any of the big guys. I can't believe I forgot what they're called now. The big dudes. They got
Krogan?
Krogans. Yeah, they're all horny.
Mm.
They have to be.
Everybody in Baldur's Gate 3? Oh,
yeah,
what am I saying? Fucking
God, yeah.
Halcyon, right?
Halcyon.
Isn't
yeah,
it?
Jesus Christ, Halcyon. Good God, he never stopped in my game. Him and Gale, like I think Gale just never stopped in my game trying to do something like Gale always felt like in my first playthrough, and I think they kind of patched it a little bit to where it wasn't as bad, but I remember my first playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, like I was constantly one wrong dialogue option from just romancing Gale on accident. Like I was just constantly like, if I say the wrong thing here, and it was always like, well, I want to be nice, and this is the nice thing to do. But then the scene would play of like, I got to reload. That's the romance option. Can't do that. I'm not trying to romance Gale. God damn it.
He's the most likely in the party to say "milady" unironically.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, but the answer is Halcyon. Halcyon is, oh boy, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's fair considering that, like, Baldur's Gate 3 arguably would not be the juggernaut that it is without Halcyon bear sex in that last trailer.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, despite no one having sex in the Resident Evil universe, I would definitely say Ashley from Resident Evil 4.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like she wants Leon so bad. She's like hitting on him like on the fucking jet ski home and all that shit. Like it's a whole thing. Trust me.
I guess Solid Snake is pretty horny.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, he can't even contain himself when he's in a locker with a poster of a woman in a bikini.
Yeah. Solid Snake. Yeah, he's definitely up there for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I'm sure we could think about this all day, but
all right. Next up from Casey. What is a game or franchise you would want to receive a sports spin-off, and which sport would you choose?
Franchise sports spin-off?
Yeah, thinking like a Mario Tennis or something along those lines, right?
What sport? Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This is a very kind of out of the left field, I think, but Pokemon had that Pokemon Unite game that was like the MOBA, but the way that they framed it was that it was like a competitive sport that they were playing.
Sure.
Which always surprised me that they didn't take that further and have where they had more different, competitive sports of, soccer or whatever that you were able to bring in Pokemon, especially because that was around the time they were doing like the fighting games and they were doing, different kind of weird spin-offs for it. It kind of surprised me that they never did more with that.
I know it's not an actual sport, but I'm surprised Final Fantasy never tried to go in on like making Blitzball like, somewhat better, and then like bringing in like everybody from outside of 10 and doing like some weird thing with that.
People have been begging for Blitzball in 14 for pretty much the entirety of the lifespan of 14.
I could see it.
And at this point, it's like, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No.
But it'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm pitching it as a totally separate thing. Like
totally. But the way that 14's like mini games work, they almost feel like separate games within 14 itself because they're so robust, right?
Right.
I think so. I really liked Tekken Ball back in like Tekken 3.
Yeah.
So I think along those lines, I would love to see a Street Fighter dodgeball game.
That would be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be all right. I mean,
then you have like all the special, because I would want it to play like the Kunio-kun dodgeball with just like the way over the top shit.
Yeah. And
you add Street Fighter to the mix and it gets even crazier, right?
Hey, listen, say what you want about Dead or Alive volleyball, and that whole thing, but like that game
Good
was
volleyball game.
Fun as fuck to play. Yeah, it was. Like it was really fun. Like at least the original one was.
I think Like a Dragon could do some really cool, like a baseball game. I don't know why that's what
that would be good.
Immediately jumps out to me.
That would be really good.
But I just imagine like Majima as like a pitcher yelling ridiculous stuff to like throw you off before like surprise speed pitching down the mound.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost fun to think of a sport and then think of what game goes with it. Or what would be the most fitting. That baseball one, that's perfect actually. That would be great. Because they already did it in one of the games, right? That was 6. They had the whole like manager thing, right?
Oh, I mean, it's been in a bunch of them.
Yeah. I mean, they have batting cages. Like all the mechanics are kind of there already. Like you could totally do it.
I'm kind of impressed with their restraint because they could easily carve out a bunch of those mini games and sell them to you for like $10 to $20 a pop, and people would buy them.
People would do it. Yeah. Especially if you put all the characters in there, people would be into that shit. Let's see. Who would I make a soccer? I mean, they already did Mega Man Soccer, didn't they? That was the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's shit.
Yeah, I know. They did it though. Who would you make a soccer game for?
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could see it.
I'm thinking of like a wrestling game, but I don't know like what game to spin off into that.
For professional wrestling?
Yeah.
Pro wrestling?
Like who would I mean, honestly, I just keep coming back to Like a Dragon. Xavier's right. You can just like put them in, any sport.
Yeah, I mean, really, yeah, you can. It's like almost any sport. Yeah, you could definitely do it. Oh man,
I missed
professional
I think it was the
wrestling.
PS2 Mortal Kombat games. Each one of them would just have like a random Mortal Kombat kart or gosh,
There's the puzzle game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I wish more series
Puzzle
would
Combat.
do that, where they're just like, we're just going to throw this like random sports mini game in here. That
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some good options.
Well, I think that's a show, Justin.
That seems like a show, Julian.
Yes. Xavier, thank you so much for joining us.
absolutely, it was a blast as
Absolutely.
always.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Definitely going to have you on for Game of the Year. And then I promise that next season we will have you on sooner than 10 months later.
No worries at all. I always enjoy coming on whenever it is.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. And again, if you're here joining us from the Giant Bomb ad, expect more like this, and also expect the unexpected with us. Again, it's a passion project. We're, any of the ads that you hear on this show are fake because it's part of the bit. We do it for the love of video games and the love of podcasting. And basically, I just kind of wanted to see what happens if we reach out to a slightly wider audience, because I think we do a fun show, and I think it deserves to have more people checking us out. So thank you for checking us out, and tell your friends. Thanks as always to the wonderful Megan McDuffie for our theme song and interstitial tracks. Thanks to friend of the show, John Gholson, for being our announcer and providing us with our logo and artwork. As we're recording this, he is currently in Los Angeles for one of the festival premieres of his movie Man Finds Tape.
Oh, cool.
So very, very excited
Hell
to
yeah.
hear stories about that when he gets back. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Stage Select. I've been Julian Titus. He's been Justin Ham. Special thanks to Xavier Kreiger. We've been the Stage Select. Signing off.
Uh-huh.
The Stage Select is copyrighted and owned by Space Monkey Mafia Productions, specializing in independent podcasting. Please consider sharing the show with your friends and support us by joining our Patreon or donating to our coffee. Thank you, and good night.